All right, let me just get my janky setup done here and we'll be ready to go. All right, there we go. Janky setup. Set up. For those who don't know, for whatever reason, I cannot get any. I can't get Windows Media, nothing. I can't get any of it to play nice with OBS. So the only recourse I have is to play it from Premiere, which is janky, and one of the reasons why I shall never do this again. But for right now, that is what we have to work with. And that is how we're going to finish off this Borderlands series. I haven't discussed it yet with Joe, but I know he and I are going to do some tag teaming. We're gonna do a 2-player playthrough of Borderlands 2, probably a little more extensive because I don't think he's played the game before, and so I want him to experience it all. So we'll probably be going slower, go through the dialogue, react to maybe the story stuff and everything. I haven't talked with him about whether or not we're going to live stream it or just two guys just having fun playing a game. I'm going to try to get it streamed so y'all can experience the joy and wonder that is, partners going at it, like going strong into the game. If anybody is watching, you can let me know if how the volume levels are. I keep having to change the volume levels because for whatever reason, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all the different systems pipe in at a different level in terms of audio volume. So what would be perfect for, say, Elder Scrolls Legends is way too loud for this desktop, running it off the desktop. There we go. I think that might help. Hey, Buddy Bag, what's going on? How the heck are you? Hey, you don't happen to have Borderlands 2 on Steam, do you? Like I was saying, I think me and Joe are going to do I think it's probably starting next weekend. I'm not sure which day, but I think we're going to start doing a playthrough of it. I don't know if I can't remember if this is your cup of tea. We had talked about playing the game. Which one was it? I feel like you probably more than anybody else have the diversity of stream. Like is Steam PC? Yes. Yeah, it's like what if you're playing Tessel on a PC, it's what you play that through. It's the little icon. It looks like it's got a little circle here, a little circle there. But yeah, it's PC. Oh no, wait, you're a console guy though, right? No. Well, how do you play Tessel? Do you play it on your phone? I mean, I do have it. I personally have it on pretty much every platform I own that takes it, which is really only Xbox 360 or Xbox One and Switch, but yeah, because I remember we were trying to, I can't remember what game it was, because I feel like you're on a lot of streams when we'll talk about like, oh, it'd be cool to be able to do this game or this game, but then usually we find a reason why it's not going to work. I don't own the game on a system, you don't own the system, I don't own the system, something always gets in the way. But I mean, at this point, Steam is kind of the catch-all for a lot of folks. My PC is like 20 years old and probably infested with malware. Oh, okay, yeah, so yeah, that's right, you're more console. Which one do you have again? It's a PlayStation? I think that was the crux. Was it? You have PlayStation, I think, and there's not cross-play on a lot of these platforms, unfortunately. Xbox. Oh, Xbox. I was like, wait a minute. What is this Xbox you talk of? This, I want to know about the Xbox. Okay. Is it? Well, I get. Well, yeah. So I guess in theory we could play Borderlands 2. We just wouldn't be able to do it because I think, like I said, Joe just downloaded it on Steam, so that's the way he would have to play it. Was via PC, and then if we were to play it, it would be via Xbox. I'm guessing because I'm sure you've got a newer system than the Xbox One or the Xbone as the. I don't know. I don't know if Xbone is a nickname for people who are detractors of Xbox or if it's by people who think it's cool. Either way, I don't know. I think it is a little more economic way to say it instead of Xbox One, just the Xbone, which is more or less. I mean, it's bone is just one with a B in front of it, so I think it works. I guess yeah, the Xbone. Yeah. Was it you that mentioned the new Mad Max movie the other day? No, I don't believe so. I haven't seen it. I'm not familiar with it. The last one I saw was Fury Road. Is that the one with Tom Hardy? I think that's the guy's name. Yeah, that's the one and only Mad Max movie that I've seen in my lifetime. And it was okay, but as I said, the reason why Borderlands as a series is such an outlier for me is because I'm not a big fan of like deserty, rusty, nasty, post-apocalyptic, post-depression, post-whatever stuff. Like, I don't mind if there's parts like that in the game where, we're in the ruined city of whatever. And that is not a phase lock, by the way. That's not my power. That's just Borderlands 2 glitching the heck out of itself. So, yeah, that was not... like, usually you see something like that with my phase lock with a little more effects. But, no, that was just the game being silly. But, no, do you remember what the context was? I just watched the newest movie and only made it 10 minutes before I laughed and turned on the movie off. Yeah, Buddy Back, I got that sense. I'll put it that way. Because, I do... Like, the whole reason I watched Fury Road is because I had like 25 people tell me what an amazing movie it was. And again, perhaps if that is your jam, if that's your genre, if you really like that kind of world, maybe it was. I thought it was well done for what it was. I just thought it was but it wasn't boring. It wasn't whatever. My assumption these days is that anything coming out of Hollywood is going to be drivel. There are exceptions. I'm actually almost 2 seasons into... I bought it on Blu-ray because I don't do the subscription stuff, but Ted Lasso. It's about a American, I think it's college or high school football coach who ends up going over to the UK to take over a team, ostensibly to help him win, but it turns out that the current owner is the divorcee of a complete jerk who loved the team, and she wants to drive it into the ground, and so she hired like the least competent person she thought to run the team, as kind of like Major League 2. Anyway, it's a very good show. It came out in 2020, which meant it went into production probably 2017, 2018. So right before things really started to get sour, I should say, in a better way of speaking. Andor, I enjoyed that well enough. But most stuff, like, I just, my understanding, like, if I haven't watched it directly, I'll watch like people who do reviews on it and things, and it just seems insipid. I'm trying to think if have you Buddy Bag, are you familiar with the bald-headed lady was from Fury Road's mom chased down like 2 dirt bikes while she was on horseback and killed them? Yeah, that is a trend that more and more people are kind of are going meh on. And it's not even like, so if you really watch people refer to this all the time, but I think it's very instructional. If you watch Alien 1 and 2 in particular, which are the only 2 that I've really watched more than once, Ellen Ripley as the protagonist works not because she's a badass per se. Like there's a scene of her like she's got this rifle, that you see sometimes the Marines are just kind of like one-handed thing. She's got the thing strapped over her shoulder. Like she's not like, look at me, I'm a badass. Like she's hefting this thing. You can see it weighs a lot. You can see it's a strain on her. She gets help. Like she's not a military person, so she gets, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name now. But like, he's like, he offers to help like train her with it, to show her what to do with it, how to aim and that kind of stuff. And they have a nice moment, but it's a way of going, okay, this is outside of her zone, but this is her adapting to it. We see, they show her doing the cargo loading at the very beginning. So we know that she's familiar with that equipment. She's worked on it before. It's enhancing her strength. That's what the mech does. And so they do a very good job of having her, but like, she doesn't like go toe to toe and punch the alien in the face. Now, to be fair, Will Smith did that in that movie, and I thought it was ridiculous in that movie too, in Independence Day. But they don't make her ridiculous. Like, they don't try to make us believe that, Sigourney Weaver, who is probably I don't know how to, she may be actually tall, I don't know, or tall for a gal anyway. But like, she's not a very big gal. She's not like Gina Carano in Haywire was the first time I saw an actress. Now, granted, she's more of an MMA fighter than she was an actress, but in Haywire, she was believable because she was a fighter. She that's what she does for a living. And so maybe the acting wasn't as awesome, but her fight scenes were believable. And she's built like a fighter. And so when you take these people who are not fighters, so they don't carry themselves in that way, they don't present themselves in that way, and they don't look that way, they're like, I mean, there's a reason why like wrestling, like all competition is broken into weight categories, because all it takes is 5-10 pounds and you've got an advantage on somebody of significance. So I mean, I'm not sure that was the entire reason, Body Bag, but this you can kind of fudge it with guys a little bit. And here's another thing too. If you go back and look at the campy action movies of the 80s, again, you're going to see, like, look at Predator. Arnold struggles. He doesn't just go to Tony and go, "You're one ugly mother," punch or, throw or whatever. He wasn't bodying the Predator. He was running for his life most of the time and got, you could say kind of got lucky, used a little bit of ingenuity. Even this dude who's freaking ripped, got biceps like softballs, is not trying to body a Predator. He's not doing stuff that's, now granted, yeah, you got guys walking around hefting 50 caliber machine guns. That's a little ridiculous, and especially firing them like that. I'm not saying that, but that's the thing. I feel like there are elements that we're supposed to take seriously out of those movies, and some we're not. Some are a little just like, okay, this is just 80s camp. But I feel like modern movies, they're trying to make a statement with it, and so that it's shot in a way, presented to us in such a way that, hey, look at how awesome this is. Not just like, okay, it's a bunch of dudes. Yeah, it would look weird if we had to have them go down, on the ground, put up the tripod. I think 50 cals get tripods, right? Like, do that, sit down and start taking aim at this thing. The aesthetics look better, but that's not what won them. The guys that were one hand in the 50 cals were got killed by the Predator just as easily as anybody else. So anyway, the first bikes had a 1/4 mile head start and she chased them down. Dirt bikes. The part about the Will Smith scene that made it even more ridiculous is when you find out the aliens. Yeah, exactly. Body bag. Yes. Yeah. And to me, I don't know that I cringed. I mean, I hate using that word. I hate the fact that there are certain words that are so overused that you feel bad about using them even when it applies. Like, I won't use it as a noun. Oh, that is so cringe. Like, it's not that, but it is. I did kind of go, and like you said, when you find out later that they're pretty much bulletproof and he just goes up and welcome to Earth, punk. I mean, I feel like his, keep my wife's name out of your mouth slap was harder than that. But yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to say that movies of the past were immune from stupid displays and stuff like that. But again, it wasn't. It was. I think it was supposed to be meant more for comedy. It wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, Will Smith is a badass. The movie itself was pretty campy. Like, I don't think anybody who looks at Independence Day and goes, that is a sci-fi. Like whereas like Aliens 2. Yes, even with the Marines, there is some exaggeration, some things that it's like, okay, but really it isn't. Like, the Marines aren't badasses. They talk a talk, and yeah, they're tough and everything, but they're not punching aliens in the face. They're running scared. They're ill prepared. They're not doing anything amazing themselves, and they get mowed down, consumed and devoured and acided pretty quickly. But so that movie, I would say, is more of a take this, like, you take the whole thing more or less seriously. There's moments of levity, but you're not supposed to be having to have like two steps of, what do you call that? Not disillusionment, suspension of disbelief. I feel like every movie has one layer because you just have to buy into the fact these are, these actors and these people and these costumes, that they're actually real. It's really happening. That's something that we, by going to a movie or by turning a movie on, you kind of have to engage that first level of suspension of disbelief. But then I feel like that like movies can require 2, 3, 4, 5, and the more serious they take themselves, the more levels you have to put on them, because usually movies do have that. Like, again, when you see an explosion that blows people back and they survive, I just watched a video on that, like debunking the whole thing. And that is possible. That is possible to get blown away from a blast and survive, but barely. Your internal organs are kind of mush. You have collapsed lungs. Like, the idea of you getting up and walking away from an explosion that blows you away is ridiculous. But we've kind of accepted that as part of, either that's the same level, the initial level of disbelief, or maybe a second level where we go, okay, I understand your firearms are not going to operate in the same way. You don't have the same kickback that a normal firearm does. Your explosions, your cars, when they hit a stationary object, they don't just stop. They flip up into the air. It's Hollywoodness. It's moviness. And we understand that. But there are certain movies that try to minimize that kind of that stuff and try to play it a little more straight so that you take it more seriously. Independence Day was a romp. It was a fun, wacky movie. You got guys making quips, people making light of stuff. It was a nice mix back then. And as a 13 or 14-year-old, I don't know how you were a body bag when you saw it, but it wasn't. I think the comedian Patrice O'Neal said the first 20 minutes of Independence Day is great cinema, and the movie goes to crap. I'm trying to remember what that first the first 20 minutes were. I mean, I know it was more personal stuff. It was like Malcolm and his dad. It was the lead up to it. Was that like up to the White House being blown up? Yeah, but it's like to me, it was more like a comedy with, like, you think about like Austin Powers. Austin Powers is not meant to be taken seriously, but if you put a little more production value into Austin Powers and you made it, you gave it a few moments. I don't think there's any, but you gave that, or that kind of movie, you give that a little more gravitas, you give it a little more of a through line, and you up the stakes a little bit, so that you're not cartoony. You know, it's not, you don't see him fall off a cliff and when he stands up and goes, oh, bugger all. Like, he doesn't do that. But like, that's the kind of thing. When you watch an Austin Powers movie, you accept that if you see his car fall off a cliff, it's probably for a gag. If he stands up and shakes it off, we're not supposed to be like, oh, so Austin Powers is defying real physics, huh? That's the kind of movie it is. It's set in that kind of really almost cartoonish form of reality. To me, Independence Day is that kind of movie, but with a few moments of you know, trying to tug at your heartstrings, or moments where it's supposed to make you go, ooh, you know, like, oh, it's the Americans. What do they have to say? Oh, we're going to unite together and strike them together. Like, there's that whole like, oh, kumbaya, the world's coming together, you know, blah, blah, blah. We can finally hurt them. You know, and the whole, you know, the redemption arc of the dad, like, you know, that whole saying goodbye to his kids and hello boys, I'm back. But again, even that, like in that moment, if you're actually in that situation, you're probably not going to be like, you know, doing this whole thing. It's going to be a little more somber. What about the fact Will Smith drives alien spacecraft based only on the fact he watched them fly before? Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. No. Oh, buddy, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is Austin. ID4 was Austin Powers with a bit more bite to it. I don't know what the better term is for it, but yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing, I'm trying to think, the idea that we could interface with their system, their computers, a completely alien system. I don't remember if they try to explain it or not. I mean, I know they explain the principle of a virus, but like, I mean, you've got on the fly trying to write a sophisticated crash your system, like, take down your shields. We're putting it into your defensive network, not just your like, oh, we're web browsing. And this is 1994, I think, or 96. The internet's not really, I got to see when ID4 came out. Okay, that's a car. Apparently, ID4 is now a car. They're not acknowledging that as movie. There we go. 1996. We are like, almost nobody I know actually had like internet. We were still on dial-up. We're AOLing in 1996. If you have a computer at all, and yes, you had viruses back then. You had the concept was there, but they were exploiting people's, you know, the fact that very few people knew anything about it. Just like, ooh, computers, internet, ooh, viruses. Like the idea that you could write a virus that is compatible with or has any way of interacting with an alien system, like. Yeah, exactly. Gateway. I had a friend that actually had a gateway. He took out a part of his student loan was to get himself a gateway. And to be fair, he maximized use. But yeah, Gateway 95 is. Oh no, you're saying that's what you had, buddy bag? You had a Gateway 95, the cow computer, right? That's the one with had the white and black splotches, and it maybe had a field gateway. Isn't that crazy? Like that and AOL were like quintessential mid to late 90s computer tech. And now neither one of them are a thing. Like Gateway probably died within 10 years of that, like by 2000. Oh no, man, even earlier than that, probably 2002 or 3. I'd stopped seeing gateways. And I mean, it could be because Compaq and IBM and all these other guys got bigger, but no, my friend. Okay, got it. Yeah, and that was so. I had a friend who I think he had a gateway. So there was one friend that I had in college, but that was 99, I think 98, where he had that. But my best friend. Like that was his Christmas present when it was a gateway, and yeah, he had AOL on it, and whatever PC we had was running Windows. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh wait. Gateway 95 was the software. That was the OS. I did not know that. I did not realize that Gateway had its own. Or maybe I didn't. I just didn't. Well, you know what? the whole thing. Like I remember my first time web browsing, I got on Alta Vista, I think it was, or no, Go2, I think. It was a green and orange themed deal, search thing. I went in there and I typed Darth Vader. Oh no. I opened up the interweb, and I put in the address bar. I was ahead of my time, really, because I put in there Darth Vader pictures and hit enter, and it gives you the not found or whatever. It doesn't do anything. And I'm like, I thought the internet was supposed to be this vast resource of knowledge, and there's no images of Darth Vader anywhere on there because, in my very forward-thinking brain, nowadays, you just, if you have Google up or you just have your web browser up, you can just type in the web browser Darth Vader pics, and it'll bring up images and other options and stuff. Back then, you had to go to a search engine and type that in there if you wanted it to bring up on a site, but you couldn't type that into the address bar and actually get anything. You had to type an actual address into it. So all that to say, I was completely oblivious to what an operating system was, how browsers worked, how the internet worked. I figured out email by that point. I understood what email was and got familiar with chat rooms back before they got nasty. There was a time where chat rooms, you literally were it was a bunch of college kids going, oh, well, look at this. I'm talking to somebody in Florida. And I did, actually. I talked to a girl in Florida, and would you believe it? Oh, so was my friend, actually. I felt kind of bad. He started talking to her, and then he had to go to class or something, so I jumped in and started talking to her. We hit it off really well. And crap you not, that year, we started that in the fall, that December, my grandparents took us down to Disney for a few days for Christmas. And she was in Florida, and I was in Florida. And so we met up, and we actually hung out. Like I met her in real life. Like I totally forgot about that. But yeah, I was like one of the OG meet somebody online that you play, talk to in chat. And that was 1998, the summer of 90, or the fall of 98. No, that can't be right. No, yeah. I graduated in 1998. So yeah, it was the fall of 98. And in the winter of 98, I actually met her. So I was way ahead of the curve in that. Anyway, let's see. Whatever PC we had running Windows, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't either. But my point, Body Bag, I think his PC was running Windows 95. My PC was running. Oh, so you were on the cutting edge, sir. You were on the cutting edge. But from what you told me about your family, and particularly your dad, it sounds like, very business oriented, very like on the leading edge of technology. Like I would not be, I'm not surprised that your family would. Mine didn't. We had an old Mac. Like, you remember the old Macs that were like, it was all one, it was a really tiny screen, but it was all one big thing. I mean, it wasn't all that big. It was actually very small, but it was like the all-in-one Mac, but it was a black and white screen, very tiny. But we got that when my grandparents, my dad's parents passed away. They had that in their house and nobody else wanted it. So we took that. That was our home computer for a while. We had no idea what we were doing with it. But yeah, but my point being, this is 96 when this movie comes out. There's no way in heck. And the whole thing pivots on the idea that, they're able to not only write a virus that can infiltrate a completely foreign system. They don't even know. I mean, they could be using liquid hard drives or some nonsense. We don't even know. They're clearly, they're not, they didn't try to pull it like, oh, they're just like us, just they look a little bit different or whatever. No, it's literally an alien and a foreign technology. And we wrote a virus for it, and we're able to upload it from a spaceship. We don't even have good Wi-Fi in freaking, I don't know, probably half the country. You go to half the country and your Wi-Fi sucks. And somehow they're doing uploads on a local network in the spacecraft, or I don't know. I don't even know how that worked. I don't know. He had a PC first? Okay. Well, I mean, they weren't common. That's all I remember. I had a couple friends, the very wealthy friends of mine, and I'm not saying only wealthy people had computers, but they were expensive as hell back then. Even back then, you're talking 1800, 2000, I think. So yeah, I mean, in 90s money, $2,000, probably $4,000 or $5,000 ish, if not more. In terms of the economy back then, or in terms of inflation, or however you want to think about it. It was incredibly expensive. Yeah, and then AOL was like $10 or $15 a month to have internet, and you either had to buy another landline or you couldn't talk on the phone and be on the computer at the same time. You try to get on the phone, and you're hearing all the stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, I need you to get off the phone. I can't. I'm writing an email right now. I need to use the phone. Okay, let me just finish. Like, it was a mess. And you couldn't even have that conversation in person because you were still tethered to the phone in the kitchen. Now, granted, usually kitchen phone lines were pretty long and tangled. That cord, I think my mom could get all the way to the bottom of the stairs with that kitchen phone cord. It was a long freaking cord, but I think the computer, initially we had it set up upstairs, or maybe it was downstairs. Wait, did we even have that in the townhouse? No, we didn't get that until I was in... That can't be right. No, I guess we did have it. It must have been downstairs. Yeah, it was in the basement. So you couldn't get the telephone down there. So you couldn't even have that conversation in person because it's one of those telephones. And that's not a cool sound effect. I'm mimicking the noise, but it didn't make it was anyway. But yes, I think the point is well taken. ID4 was a campy bit of fluffery. It was, again, as a teenager, I was 16 years old. As a 16-year-old, it was fun. And it was cool. And it was funny, you know. Oh, no more oops. Let's go forward without the oops. You know, I mean, what's his face? Jeff Goldblum was amazing. And Will Smith, very charismatic. A lot of fun. And his whole, side love story with the stripper gal was cool. I mean, I think if they did a remake of it and they decided they wanted to go serious with it, it could be done, but not in the way it was done. But yeah, no, I don't know. It couldn't have been done that way. You're not gonna get human beings piloting alien crafts. You might be able to figure out the technology. You might be able to figure a way to take down the shields, what you need to do that. There may be things like, what is it? The original War of the Worlds. It was War of the Worlds or something where they realized that the aliens were weak to water, I think is what it was. It's like, I mean, there could be any number of things like that. But I mean, that particular plot, those plot points could only be done in a movie that was only taking itself but so seriously. That was kind of like, I mean, it's like, well, I'm trying to think like Lethal Weapon, Bad Boys. Like, they were kind of in that vein, but not to that extent. They were still, like, all these films are like, 3 layers of disbelief, suspension of disbelief. Like, okay, yeah, we're watching a movie. Okay, physics don't exactly work in this world the way we would expect. That's kind of Hollywood in general. And then the next layer is, okay, and even then, police are doing certain things or given cars or headquarters, something that police really don't in real life. ID4, the way the military works, the way access to restricted areas works, security clearances and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you want to argue that some of that stuff went out the window when you're, you got an alien invasion and in that world you had people who knew about it beforehand and everything. Okay, maybe that changes it a little bit. But yeah, it's campy. But I think most people saw it that way. Whereas, yeah, I don't know. But they do strain credulity. I think there's that. And there is this thing. Now, again, I understand this gets into some touchy stuff. It shouldn't be. Hopefully it's not political. But I mean, like, as a guy, like, I have no problem with gals being badass. Like I said, I liked Haywire. This is back in the day. Like, whatever people think of Gina Carano now, for whatever reason, irrelevant. This is back many years ago, back when she was still an MMA fighter. And I didn't know her. I didn't even know who she was. I just watched this movie. I just watched Salt. I believe that's what it was called, with Angelina Jolie, and she's supposed to be a Mission Impossible / I'm trying to think of the hero that was going around back then. Like a James Bond-ish type of thing. Like, I'm secret agent, I can do stuff. This is Angelina Jolie, and I got nothing against Angelina. She's a toothpick. She is a toothpick. And she does carry herself and move in a way that belies some kind of athleticism, but not like an athlete, not a combatant athlete. When you see her, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, she does okay, but then, I mean, there's just sometimes when you see what she does, like when her and Brad Pitt are actually like physically fighting, you're going, no, that's not going to do damn squat, Jack Dilly squat. You better grab that pot. You better grab that whatever, because that is not doing Jack Dilly squat. But I remember watching Salt and just going, I was like, why are they trying to sell me on this character being this way? Because it's just not something that you like. That's another level suspension of disbelief. But then I saw right after that Haywire. Like literally, it was right after that. I was just on a binge. I was like, just movies like these, and I watched Haywire, and I was like, okay, that I bought. So it's not a matter of, can a gal do this? It's what you have her doing. Honestly, to a degree, why you have her doing it, and to what degree you have, it's, I don't know. It's just weird. They just made a second independent. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I didn't even bother with that. Again, it's modern. Well, when did that one come out? I mean, I feel like it came out in 2000. Oh, really? 2016? Dang. I thought it came out a little bit later than that. But yeah, I didn't even bother with that one. It would have gotten really good word of mouth. And to be fair, I think I was that way with Top Gun. I just wasn't buying what Hollywood was selling. At that point, I was just kind of checked out of movies and TV shows. Like, hey, if I hear enough people say this was awesome, and they're people that I know from passings they've recommended, we have the same kind of taste or expectations of movies. Like my friend Eric, he recommended Andor. Some folks, I can't remember, it was Michael Bailey or somebody else recommended it in chat as well. And they were like the fifth or sixth person to directly recommend it to me. But my friend Eric, he knows me. We've known each other for so long. He was like, you'll like Andor. I watched Andor. I liked Andor. He recommended Ted Lasso. I like Ted Lasso. So, when you understand that there's a rapport there with people, you're willing to believe, if they recommend something, they know what you like. There's a lot of stuff that my friend would say, hey, I love this, but I know you would hate it. And he was probably right. But like Independence Day was one of those ones where I would have had to heard a lot of really good, strong word of mouth to give a flying fig about. And part of it was, I'm not 16 anymore. I remember watching Independence Day older, and I was like, okay. Again, kind of, it's amusing in the way a cartoon is amusing. It's almost a live action cartoon with a little more heart than maybe your normal stuff. But that said, classic Pixar, everything up to, well, most things up to like Big Hero 6. I mean, what was it? The big one, the Incredibles. That had a lot more like seriousness and like world integrity than Independence Day 4, I think, had. Yeah, they're superheroes. That's your level of disbelief. But within that context, they didn't do anything bizarre. They had fatigue. They weren't invincible. Like Parr was, yeah, he's super strong, but, and he's a little more resilient, but he can still get the crap kicked out of him. He's not just invincible, man. They have powers that they point out. Hey, these bad guys they got guns. They're trying to kill you. And other heroes have been killed. Like, it's a very gritty world in a lot of ways, but it's so I don't want to disparage cartoons or animated shows by, making them sound like they're not, but that they don't have substance. But there are a lot of, again, especially classic Pixar, that I think has more heft to it and should be taken more seriously than something like an Independence Day. And that's I guess what I would say, but I think I could be mistaken, but I would like to believe that the people who made Independence Day, pretty much everybody from the cast to the writers and everything, they knew what they were making. They knew that this is a movie to show the strength of the world and American might, military might, and our resourcefulness. And it's really about bringing people together. I mean, 9/11 haven't happened yet, so like there's there's nothing like that. It was just it's July 4th, Independence Day. Let's do a movie version of fireworks is really what it was. And I mean, it still needed some cohesion. I'm not saying it was brain dead, but it wasn't. They weren't going to let them their wacky plot and set pieces and moments be stopped or hindered by logic and reason and trying to make things make a whole heck of a lot of sense. It was just make it fun, make it bombastic, and send people out going, yeah, woo, yeehaw, kind of thing. Whereas I think, I haven't seen it, but Body Bag, I think your experience would attest to something like this. You're trying to sell this as a gritty, like you're taking it seriously because we do this. I don't think this is, we're not in debate about this at all at this point. Hollywood is, and I mean, a lot of media is trying to go, hey, girls are badasses too. And I mean, it's to everybody's taste, right? Everybody has their own taste and what they're looking for. Personally, as a guy, I'm not necessarily interested in a badass gal. Like, I'm not, it doesn't bother me. It's not like, oh gosh, I hate seeing it. And if it's done right, if it's done with, a level of cohesion, I can't remember the one I was watching. There was something I saw. It was one of those action things. And the gal actually did. She was using, like, she was pulling pots and pans off the wall. Like, she was getting attacked by guys. And if you know what you're doing and you have enough technique and you could, you know how to put power behind stuff, martial arts training or whatever, you swing a pot at a guy, you catch him in the head, it's gonna lay him out. It doesn't matter woman or not. Like that, there's enough weight there, there's enough heft, and if you've got enough twist or whatever, it's gonna do some damage. So like they sold the fight on her flexibility, on her quickness, and on using heavy stuff. The book that I want to write, that I would love to make into a movie sometime, and I still haven't made enough progress on it. Like, she does stuff, but she's enhanced. Like, she's got stuff going in her favor that makes these exchanges, as best as I can. Like, I'm trying to write it as realistic as possible, going, okay, if you were to give somebody, a natural athlete, these things, I think she would be able to do these, things. She's going to have limits. She's going to have things she can't do, but her ability to adapt. And anyway, I think you totally can do that. But in general, it's not something that resonates, for lack of a better word. And I know some guys are like, oh man, it's so hot when a gal can do these things. And I'm like, I kind of see it, but I don't know. It's kind of along the same lines when, women are like, I don't understand. I've got this amazing job. I make $80,000 a year. Why don't the guys care? And it's like, well, because a lot of guys aren't looking, they're not looking at a woman to be a provider. Some of them are, some of them don't mind. I personally, that's not something I look for. I don't look when I would be on dating sites. I didn't look under education. I didn't look under what she made for a living. Very few things. It was pretty much, what are your values? Do we share core values? And things like smoking, excessive drinking, and this, by the way, this is my Zevia. I'm just, instead of putting it in my big old mug, I'm putting it into a little glass. It's just a different way to drink it. But it's not, I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, but those things that a lot of women do look at, they look at income, they look at your education, they look at all these things when they're on these sites. A lot of times they'll say, I'm looking for a guy with these things, because I'm looking for a guy who can provide. I'm looking for a guy who is, going to be protective and not overprotective, but, has got his crap together, is mature, is responsible, has shown financial and real world responsibility and relational maturity, like looking for things like that. And, as a guy, I'm looking for some other stuff. So it's like, you can't expect me to value something in a female that I value in a guy, or vice versa. It doesn't mean I can't, or that I won't, or I refuse to, or it's appalling to me, but it doesn't have the appeal. It doesn't have the draw. It's like, okay, I'll do it. And that's coming from somebody, again, who's writing a story around a female protagonist who is in action. But in my setting, it's because the guys have kind of forfeited that. They're not willing to do anything. They're just standing by and watching stuff happen. Even her dad. And that's one of the points of contention that they have is, he's like, you like, but I think it's more about showing, like, okay, this is how bad it is, that like nobody's willing to do anything. And so she steps up and she does a great job and she rallies people to it. Maybe Joan of Arc-ish, I guess, perhaps. but that's not, but that's an indictment to me. That the men have failed to step up and do what they're supposed to do. And I know that is taboo today. That is taboo these days to talk about. But I mean, that's my personal thing. I wasn't particularly raised that way. I just know when I watch a movie, it's like, I like to see guys kick butt, and yeah. And if they can sell it with a gal, that's great. Like I said, Alien, like I never once thought about watching Sarah Connor, but the reason why those two examples are used so much is because there are few times where I think they get it right, where they walk that way, where they're like, okay, yeah. I mean, and I would say even more so in Terminator, where, yeah, she goes through the training. You can tell she's freaking, and she's not roided out. Like Sarah Connor, I can't remember the actress's name now, but like she put in the work. She was fit, probably in better shape than I've ever been in my entire life. And for a gal, had really defined, shoulders, muscles, and everything, but she wasn't like bulky, it's like, cause I think I was talking to a gal who did weightlifting, and she's like, yeah, if you see girls that look like guys that have all that stuff, that's not natural. Like the way the female body works, like it doesn't form muscle like that to that degree. And to be fair, a lot of guys are not natural either. They've got enhancements and whatever stuffs too. But if you were to take a guy that just purely works out, is just, it's basically diet and maybe protein supplements or protein mix or whatever, and a gal, they're not going to have the same physiology. She's not going to get anywhere near as big. So the point is, she looked formidable, and she had very like cut and dry tactics. When she's like fighting the guys at the asylum or whatever, it's just a very quick boom, thrust to the head, hitting them right. I think she has the chin, but I mean, going for the nose. I mean, that's you hit with enough force, what you're hitting. It's cartilage. It's going to break. It's going to shatter. It's going to create problems. So I think they did a really good job of showing her, knowing, and saying she's been spent the past 10 years. If you believe in that the Ripley and Sarah were both victims of the first movie and badass in the second. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I agree to a degree, but I wouldn't, like, they're no more victims than Arnold Schwarzenegger was in Predator. They were out of their element. They were out of their depth. They didn't know what they were getting into. But the amount of times where they were actually just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me, wasn't all that much. The characters, and which is great. The characters themselves were proactive. They were like, okay, I'm not going to just like curl up in a corner and let this happen. They were up against a whole lot of stuff they didn't know. But in both movies, now they're familiar. They were both subject matter experts. Sarah very much knew what she was up against with Terminator. She knew what it would take to beat them, to fight them. And same thing with Ripley. Like now she's fought them. Now she knows about all the things. She knows about the horrors. And so I'm not necessarily disagreeing, Body Bag, but like when you think of like a victim, it's typically somebody who is preyed upon, like more like a horror movie, I would think, where you're always running away. They were fighting for their survival, but they were finding ways they were figuring it out as it went along. And then I guess you would say they came into their own in those second movies, where it was like, okay, I got you now. All right, this is the world I live in. Big bad, cyber things are going to be coming after me, or these big exoskeleton having indestructible things. But I know I can take out your legs with TNT. I know I can crush you in a press. Like you're formidable, but you're not indestructible, and I know how to do that. I know I'm going to have to be able to handle high ordnance in order to take you down. Ripley, this is not something you go investigate by yourself. This is not like, you need firepower for these things, and you need to be cautious, and you need to know where they can come from. And so yeah, they to I think perhaps to your point, Body Bag, they earned it. Like whether you want to think of them more as victims or you want to think of them as survivors, because I think there's a difference there as well. And it's I think, and maybe that's the key. Maybe I'm thinking the end game of victimhood is that it ends with them being victimized, whereas they were survivors. But either way, we could be splitting hairs. It's fine. Semantics. Either way, their badassery in the second movies is earned because of what they go through and endure in those first movies. And And like, so, I mean, Sarah Connor she's not just the same gal from the first Terminator, just with less poofy hair. I mean, thankfully they did calm the hair down, from the 80s poof to the more 90s, reasonable hairdo. I think you're taking the word victim too literal. It's possible. That's what I'm saying. It could be semantics. But I mean, victim, put it there. Okay. So I'd ask you this then, Body Bag, to help articulate, what are they a victim of? Because I mean, and what would you say is the difference between like a victim and a survivor? Because a survivor denotes somebody who went through a horrific experience, but was able to obviously survive. So I would just say, like, in what ways were they victimized? Because they weren't a victim of obviously death. They didn't get killed. They were chased. They were hunted. But either way, like I said, you could be very right. The way you're thinking of it, I'm not disagreeing. But either way, there was a transformation from the first one to the second one. And as I was saying, at least with Sarah, now Sigourney Weaver not so much, or Ripley not so much, but Sarah takes action and is a decidedly different person in the second one. She's harder. She's joyless. And then what I like about that too is in the script, that is demonstrated as a weakness. Like the fact that she wasn't able to be a mother to him. She was a trainer. She was a military, like almost a military officer to her own son. There was no warmth. There was nothing there. It was all about, because again, survival. Like, I need to train you so that you can survive what's coming, not let me be that nurturing, whatever mother. I'm raising a soldier, not a soldier and a leader, not a son who I hope is going to, go off and have a nice family and wife and kids. Like, that's not the future that I know is coming. And you're not going to survive if you're just this soft, or, this, let me go to school. Like, she was trying to do that. So, but it was shown, like, when she has that breakdown, it was like, you wound yourself up. It's consumed you. And not that it's wrong. That's a sacrifice you've had to make, but it is a downside. Like it was. So, let's see. Oh gosh, they were both survivors in the first movies. My bad. No. That's what I said, Body Bag. Goodness gracious. I told you we could be talking semantics. I'm just saying, like, when I think of them in my mind, I don't think of them as like a victim. Like if you were to say a character in a movie was a victim versus a character in a movie is a survivor, like, it's different connotations. But anyway, like I said, I'm happy to say victim/survivor. No, you're right. I'm wrong. Oh, for goodness sakes. That's not important. Body Bag, you've heard I've said before, I'm big on communication. Like I want to, when I'm articulating what I'm trying to say anyway, or when I'm trying to understand somebody else, when I ask to articulate, it's not because I want you to make an argument. I just want to understand what you're saying and go, okay, yeah, I can see it. Like I think it was my friend neighbor, Tim, who's been on here before. He was saying like we talked about the definition of an artist. And he said an artist is somebody who does what they want to do and gets paid for it. Or no, just does what they want to do. Doesn't even have to get paid for it. Just if you make the kind of product that you want to make, to him, that's an artist. You don't have to make money at it, but if you make the product you want to make, you're an artist. And at first I was like, that doesn't sound right. Like an artist, I mean, it's a profession, right? Money has to be involved in a profession. But when I got him to articulate exactly what he meant, and the fact that he held that standard up no matter what, he said, yeah, if you make money, you can make money and be an artist. You can make no money and be an artist. It really is just, and if you're doing a YouTube channel and you're doing what you want to do, you're an artist. If you're doing a YouTube channel and you're doing what other people tell you to do, you're not an artist anymore. Even if the artistry, anyway, all of that to say, even though I didn't necessarily agree 100% with the definition, at least the definition to me had integrity. And I understood what he was saying, and I could appreciate what he was saying. So that's all. I'm just messing with you. Okay. But I was excited. It really was a bad choice of words on my part. Survivor was the correct word to describe them in the first movies. Okay, but as long as you're just messing with me, that's fine. I just never know. Like, as much as I know people think, I don't know how I come across, because I know I can come across a little intense. So I don't know if I was coming across as like, oh no, we need to clarify this. I was just, like I said, just trying to make sure, like, just an understanding. So anyway, I won't belabor it anymore, but yeah, as long as you weren't taking it like me just saying, oh, you need to use the right word. Actually, I think that's a good meme or a good like thing when people do that. The AK, Shuli, actually, and they do a little, Because, at points you're like, okay, come on, dude. You knew what I was trying to say. But I was just choking on the word because in my mind, it wasn't registering. But in any case, but your point is still made, Body Bag. I 100% that they are very different. There's a transformation that they go through because of their experience that creates what you think of as the badassery. And the badassery is expertise, a level of expertise that they have from that experience, their approach to it, their understanding of their capabilities and limitations, and the opponents or the alien or the Terminator's abilities and limitations. And that they don't run away from it. I mean, that takes courage. A lot of people, myself included, probably, like, that thing would haunt me in my nightmares. Like the whole, especially the Terminator with the alien would too, but like, you got these glowing red eyes and this just face is just crawling after you. Like you've done it. It's missing its freaking lower torso or its lower body. And it's just crawling at you with just its arms. And it's like, that's terrifying. Oh no, it's doing it again. Hang on a second. Gosh, the heck darn it. Hopefully this is just a temporary thing like last time. It's, I'll be glad when this particular, all right, let's try this again. Trying to run a video off of Premiere is stupid. The system was never meant to do that. But it's the only way I can get through this without going back to these videos, which is just boring. Did you ever see the meme, How Alien Really Ends or something like that? No! Let me take a look. The ginger cat with the baby chest breaker. No. Oh, wait. It's not How Alien Should Have Ended, is it? Are you talking about the animated series? I think it's called Hishish or Hish. It's like How It Should Have Ended. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, you ridiculous machine. It's going to do this to me, isn't it? I'm trying to think, what did I do last time? Because last time I had to restart the computer and it was fine because I'd left the computer running all night. And this time it's not doing that. So let me go ahead and try this. Save as to. Sorry, folks. For those of you paying attention to Borderlands 2. All right, so we're at the 50:38 mark. Close out that. Hopefully this will buy us. We don't have much time left on this episode. It's only like 2 hours total. So we're about halfway done. Okay, it starts right there. Okay. Please behave. All right. Oh, no, it's just a picture. It might be a poster or a shirt. It's basically saying the cat would have killed the chest breaker before it could grow into the alien. I gotcha. That is very true. That is very true. Cats are quite ferocious. Especially when we saw the cats weren't afraid, right? Didn't they hiss every time the alien was around? That's how we knew. That's how you knew the alien was nearby, because it would start hissing. Did it run away? I think it just hissed, right? It got pissed off or it just got nasty. But that's true. As fast as they are, the kitties are fast. You could tell it was, well, I don't know. Maybe it was made by a cat lover. I don't know how Cameron feels about cats, but because it was a cat instead of a dog, which is probably more pragmatic in some ways, just for in space. And you don't have to walk them, kitty litter boxes and all that. But yeah, I don't think he maximized the cat's efficacy in those films, or in that film. Well, there was cats in both, right? Wow, that was sad. I mean, and I will say too, it's fun. I don't do this to like nitpick per se, but I think it's mentally stimulating. Okay, what kind of physiology does an alien have to have that it can have acid blood that erodes metal, but is totally fine within their body? Like, are we saying that once the blood oxidizes, because I think well, for us, blood carries oxygen through the body. So are we saying that once it is exposed to the outside air, it becomes acid, or is it retain those properties and somehow the alien's internal organs and entire anatomy is structured in such a way that acid is nourishment? And if so, why does fire and everything else have the same effect on it that you would expect it to? Again, that's not to nitpick. It's just that one of those things you think about. It's the same thing with, like the Flash. I've mentioned that before. Like, okay, you can run at the speed of light and you can run through space, but if your body is not virtually indestructible, the particles would just tear you apart. And moving at that speed would absolutely destroy your body. Like and how your ligaments and how everything in your body, in order to move at that speed, your body has to be fundamentally different than a normal human being's. Like I said, it's fun. It's fun to think about it. Vulture stomach lining. That's what they are made of, obviously. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait. Is that actually a term? Is that a term used in the movie, or is that a? Is that? Oh, you're saying like vultures? Like, do real life vultures have like genuine like metal eating acid in their stomachs? Because if so, I mean, that's a hard counter. Like, okay, wow, there's actually something in real life that if you were to take the acid out of, I guess that's even true for, well, I don't know. I don't think, because we have enzymes that break down our stuff in our bodies, but I don't think it can eat through metal. Like if you were to take the stuff in our stomachs out, the acid or whatever it is that breaks down food, if you take that out and put it on like metal, it's not going to eat through it, right? But maybe vultures do. Vulture stomach line. Vulture acid stomach. No, I'm joking, because vultures have the strongest stomach acids and it kills everything, but probably not metal. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Look at this body bag learning. Vultures have the strongest stomach acid in the animal kingdom with a pH of just over 0. It's 100 times stronger than humans, which have a pH level of 2. Vulture stomach acid is so corrosive it can dissolve certain metals. Hey, check that out, body bag. Look at that. How did you know that? That seems like such a random factoid. Its stomach acid acts as a powerful bacterial filler, killing most of the bacteria they consume. This allows them to eat dead animals and carcasses that would be lethal to other scavengers. Immunity, strong stomach. I'd be smart, dog. Yeah, use their stomach acid as a defensive weapon. They vomit on animals that threaten them, then light. Wow. Anthrax, botulism, and other bacteria the birds swallow eating carcasses, which makes sense. That's pretty impressive. Again, and now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, apiary, out there with nature, maybe body bag just has just more. Oh, stop it. I swear, if VLC could just do its doggone job, I wouldn't have this problem. Stupid VLC. All right, go full screen. Now it can't even do that properly. I mean, if it did this every time, I could understand it. But the fact that it's gone through 2.5 hours before and not had a problem, I don't understand it. Don't understand it. Let me see. I'm gonna try VLC again. I mean, look at that. That's what VLC does when you try to play it on this thing. It just has a fit. It's ridiculous. Oh, you know what I could do? Well, no. And then Windows Media Player doesn't play audio. I open with Windows Media Player. Watch. Plays just fine. Well, no, it doesn't. It plays it like crap. Okay, that doesn't even work. All right, never mind. Windows Media Player sucks too. One of the times that I wish I was on a Mac. But we got to get through it. So we'll just keep... we're at 55:21. Wait, oh no! Oh no, you're right, Body Bag. I don't believe it. I totally forgot that I'd set it for the... Because I did the... Gosh darn it. Wow, that's embarrassing. So, yeah. I've been streaming. Like, I haven't been recording videos for like weeks. So I had to switch it over to, I had to switch the audio properties over when I did the interview with Joe for the Spotlight. And I totally forgot to switch them back. So now you should hear. You can hear it now, can't you? How dare you not bring this to my attention earlier? My incompetence is not my fault, but the fault of the audience. But yeah, I'm sure you're getting it now, right? Yeah. Vultures laugh at our 5-second rule. Yeah, exactly. Body Bag, yeah. Yeah, 5-year rule, maybe. We was talking, nobody was here to point it out. I know, right? Well, and that's fine. That's just wonderful. That's wonderful. I hate when there's no game audio. To me, it's almost like a soundtrack. I mean, it is very much actually a soundtrack, almost by definition. But, you know, it's like, for fuck's sake. I'm trying to think, what do I have open that is straining this thing so much that it can't run this? I mean, I know if I knock down the resolution, it'd be fine. Oh, there we go. We just watch it on a little tiny screen. I'm sure that's not a pain in the butt. We'll get through it. But now, yeah, and the only thing I will say, so there you go, folks. There's a fact in Vulture Stomach, and they can upchuck it. Oh, this is ridiculous. All right, you know what we're gonna have to do, which I'm sure for most folks won't be the worst thing in the world. Well, maybe it won't work. This is turning into a debacle. I mean, the conversation's great, but the stream itself, the video itself, is absolutely garbage. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll try it one more time. This is just obnoxious. Oh yeah, keep update. I think it's official. I don't need to cut or rake anymore this. Oh, wait. Oh, yard keep update. There we go. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. These words aren't making sense. Yard keep update. I think it's official. I don't need to cut or rake anymore this year. Time to pull out the snowblower and put the lawnmowers away. I did not realize you had to mow that far into the season. I thought maybe it was about a month ago. But I guess it's true. It really, we just had probably, well, in Texas, I don't know. The leaves don't really fall here. All right, we'll try this. The resolution isn't as good, but hopefully for most folks watching it, it's going to be marginally impaired. And hopefully it'll mean we don't have to worry about stopping again. But cheers, Body Bag. Cheers to this changing of seasons. Is that an upgrade for you? Do you prefer snow blowing than mowing? Or is it like, 6 to 1, half dozen to the other? Either way, I'm pushing or pulling something through the yard, and it's a lot of yard to cover. But I'm glad that you're past that particular season. And I guess, well, no, you're in Buffalo. I was going to say, well, maybe if you don't have a lot of snow. How stupid is that? That was a dumb thing to say. Like here, you might. No, you wouldn't even have to snow blow one day here. Because I think even the snow we get here is so minimal that it would be a waste of time to break out a snowblower. To be honest, I enjoy both. It's satisfying seeing this. I get that, Body Bag. I get that. I absolutely do. When I used to mow the lawn, so here was the thing. The lawn had to be a right length. It had to be long enough that I could see my swaths of cutting, like to see the path where I cut, so I could actually see that difference. But it couldn't be so long that I had to like do it like go over the same spot 2 or 3 times, or do it where you like put the like raise a mower up and then put it down, because otherwise the blade just got messed up, you know, or would get caught and the motor would stall out. So yeah, it had to be just long enough that, because if it was too short and like I'm going and I can barely see the difference, I was like, it's kind of, didn't really help. But yeah, if I could go through and I could see the difference and see how manicured it looked and how awesome it looked. Now, do you do edging as well? Like edging and weed whacking? Because that's the other half of it too. Like, you know, we see these yards that are pristine, that they're very crisp. You know, the grass line is very distinct and very distinct. So the yard can be well manicured. The yard can be cut, but if it is not well manicured, it may lack that extra panache. But I do like that as well. I think for me, it's the futility of repetition. And to be fair, I mean that's probably why a lot of my jobs, any job where it's the exact same thing over and over again, I do find it a little difficult, because it's like I just did this last week. Like if I have to go out there every week or even every 2 weeks and do the exact same process, the exact same way, it feels futile to me. And I'm like, why am I cutting the grass when all it's going to do is grow back? It's a stupid thing to think, because if you don't cut the grass for weeks on end or a month, then it literally, you know, it is up to your eyeballs, and you can't cut it with a chainsaw, let alone a lawnmower. But there is that part of me that goes, like, I'm fighting nature here. Like I'm losing the whole 9 yards. Even rake and sweep after. Nice. How did you? Would you then, body bag? Like, would you be happy, content / like cool with like doing like landscaping, like as a career? Like just go into business for yourself. Just start up with a few things here and there. I mean, you've got a heck of a resume. You start, doing videos or taking pictures of the work that you're doing for your family. I'm sure that would be more than enough. You could show that to folks and just be like, yeah, I'll do this for X number. And a lot of people, especially anybody with a yard big enough to need, a significant mow, are probably well off enough that they would pay you well to do the job and then not have to worry about it. And if you enjoy it, that's perfect. That's a good match made in heaven. No, I don't do good in direct heat. Okay. Oh, so you have to do it at certain times then? It's like you'll do it like in the evening, like in the cool of the day, or in the mornings maybe. I guess mornings maybe not so much because neighbors, but so you need to be able to do it when you want to do it versus having to do it all day long. And I feel you, man. I know you're younger than I am by a considerable amount, but you get to a certain age and the heat will just take it out of you. I mean, it'll do it to you. It does it to every human being, but it feels like it's more significant when you get older. Like every day, I just going out for a walk. I'll walk for like 3.5 miles. Well, I walk for like 2.5 and jog for a half, trying to work my way up to 3 miles. And if I do that, and a little basic workout, I am pretty much spent for the rest of the day. It's a sad state of affairs. No, I work in the heat, just not 9 to 5. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, hey, man, if you charge the right amount, you might be able to get away with just 1 or 2 days a week. So, look, you want my services? It's going to cost you $2,000. Or $1,000 a week. There you go. Two houses, $1,000 a week. There you go. That's $2,000 a week. Most folks could live off of that. Well, $2,000 after taxes. All right, I think we hacked the system. I think at 50%, it doesn't look all that bad in the view. It looks horrible on a higher resolution monitor, but I'm looking at it on OBS. I think it's coming off all right. So that's what we'll do for all the future videos. We only got 4 more, I think. This is 20 and 21. Did I say? So yeah, we got 4 more videos, and then we're. I'm sure that's not reasonable though to expect people to pay $1,000. And if they are, you're probably doing 5 days, 4 or 5 days worth of work to their yard each week. So that probably won't work. But I got you. But I mean that's good though. Like that. I mean there are plenty of people that's a sticking point for them. Like me. And this would be awkward because, well, I don't know. My mom likes to do yard work because I was gonna say like my thing would be, you take care of the outside of the house, I'll take care of the inside of the house. If you can cook, I will do the dishes. Like I don't have those skills. I like cleaning the inside because to me, even if it's an illusion more or less, it feels like I have more control over keeping it clean, keeping it pristine, versus rain will make grass grow. Grass grows, grass gets long, have to cut. Whereas here, you just clean up after yourself and you don't end up with a big mess. And it's equally as satisfying. There were times in my life where I was so devoid of anything interesting going on that I would actually purposefully let stuff pile up. I would let the kitchen, this was back when I lived by myself. Yeah, I'd let the kitchen stuff pile up in the kitchen. I'd let the laundry do. I just throw clothes on the floor. So that after about a week and a half or 2 weeks, I had a genuine mess to clean up. Oh, really, game? Come on, man. 50% and you can't even handle that? What a crock of poo. And like, I mean, OBS is less than 2% of the CPU processing. Like, I wonder if... No, I mean, it worked fine before. We're gonna just, we'll get through it. You know what? Actually, let me do this. I really didn't expect to not have a way to play a video, feasibly play a video while I'm streaming. That just never occurred to me that wouldn't be a thing. All right. Hopefully that gets it done because it's looking pretty bad right now. Or whatever. We're limping through it. Me trying to work 40 hours a week in direct sun would be like European explorer in a jungle for the first time. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that would be pretty rough. Well, then you got the humidity involved. You guys, it's not the, is it with the lakes and everything? Is it humid up there as well? I try not to make fun of people that can't handle Buffalo's winters because I couldn't handle the southern humidity. I'm kind of the same way, which is ironic considering where I live. But I am much more of a, this looks too bad if at a quarter. I think at a half it looks okay. I don't want to look back on the stream and be like, oh gosh, the visuals were so horrible. Humid, but not like in the south. Okay. So you wouldn't necessarily describe it as humid. It's like we've got humidity, but it's not like you wake up in the summer. Well, maybe in the summertime, but like you don't go outside and go, oh, it's sticky. Like you're sweating. The sun's not even out. It's not even hot outside, but you're still sweating. But yeah, that's my. Because I mean, and to me, it's a matter of practicality. Like you can get warmer, and it's almost like a little fun versus nature challenge. Like, okay, how many layers do I have to wear? What kind of materials work better? But you can get yourself warm in most situations, inside and outside. And it's kind of like, man, I'd love you go to like a football game or something in the wintertime. And you're kind of sitting there, and you're all bundled up. You smell the beer, you smell the hot cocoa. It's all, all over the place. That scent is there, and there's the energy, and everybody around is just as cold as you are. You're all bundled up, and you're trying to find that right, just enough where you got yourself warm, but your nose is freaking cold. But you understand that's a thing because unless you wanted to wear one of those baklavas or bakava or whatever they're called, baklava, bakava, who cares? Which those suck too, because when you breathe out, the moisture in your breath gets in your face, and you just got this cold, wet moisture all over yourself. But no, it's definitely sticky humidity, but nothing compared to even, let's say, New York City. Okay. It's not dry heat. That's what. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, yeah, so you're not talking like high desert kind of stuff. It is. Okay. It's what I call East Coast. I guess you have to go. You probably have to be up in like Connecticut or Vermont to get to that more dry, the dry heat, the less humid. I mean, summers or even winters. Actually, I think I would like the weather, the climate in like a Vermont or Connecticut. There's a lot of that, a lot of it that I might not go for. But that's kind of the same. It's weird. Like everywhere that I kind of want to live, I feel like I wouldn't necessarily enjoy it there, even though I like the weather. It's very strange. My first time going to Philly, I got there at 12 a.m. and it was still 92 and the humidity was so oh yeah. That's the worst when it's like it's midnight. The sun's been down for 3 or 4 hours. And maybe in the summertime only, 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why is it so humid? It's not fair. The sun is gone. Well, I mean, and then humidity is not a product of the sun. I don't even remember. I had to learn it when I got my drone certification license, whatever the heck that thing was. We learn about the different weather things and how they affect air currents and flying and all that kind of stuff. But the heat is the sun. Humidity is just how I don't even know. I'm not even pretending to know. Vultures have acid in their stomachs that can melt some metals. That's what I'll say. But yeah, that's always a discouraging thing. That was one thing in living in Colorado. The nice thing with that was almost year round, if you could get out of the sun, it was comfortable. The sun would be, it's mile high. So you're closer to the sun. It's hotter. The air is thinner. There's a lot of stuff going against you there. But if you were out of the sun, the humidity was low enough that you really didn't feel it. In fact, the building that I worked in for most of the time that I was there, they artificially pumped humidity into the building. Like the whole building was a humidifier. Like that. It wasn't like, it was like you walked from outside, inside, and you felt, it wasn't sticky. It wasn't that bad. But it was enough that it was noticeable. You walked in there like, okay, yeah, this is a little swampy. A little swampy. Yeah, it just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that it's relentless. And that's another thing. Like if it's cold outside, a lot of it could be the wind. If you get out of the wind, it's not so bad. In fact, a lot of times that's a huge part of what makes it so miserable is you got that wind blowing. Like I could be walking, and if the wind's blowing against me in the wintertime, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't take another step. But if I flip up my hood and turn around and walk the other way or walk backwards, it's fine. Because the wind's not beating directly on my face and getting into my very soul. But yeah, I think, and this is going to sound kind of weenie-ish, but that's fine. Like, wintertime gives you the excuse to get try to find a way to get cozy. Like it's you against the elements, and you can win, but you have to wear the right stuff and put yourself in the right position to win. But you can enjoy authentically cold days. And that's the other thing too, I love the scent of winter. Like I love the smell of snow on the air. Not necessarily driving in it, snow, but like snow falling or the smell, like you can smell like, oh man, either there is snow coming or there's snow nearby or something, you just smell it in the air. Or the fall leaves, the crisp air, the somewhat biting, but it's really crisp. Like it's full of scent. Whereas in the summertime, I feel like I just smell dog crap and whatever humidity smells like, and flower sperm, pollen. The wind is the worst part of the winter. 15 degrees with no wind, I can wear a hoodie. But if the wind even farts, it's frostbite. Yeah, that flatulating wind, that'll do you in. But yeah, it is amazing, and the thing, it doesn't even have to be like blustering wind. Oh, I think we're repeating a part here. It doesn't. Yeah, we've done this. We'll skip a part. Oh, that's not working. Never mind. All right, sorry folks. I know we replayed this one part a few times, and it keeps hooking up. Maybe it's the video itself. I don't know. We're just gonna skip ahead here a little bit. This is turning into a debacle. Technology has failed me. winter is fun in December and the first week of January after the holidays. Winter is just, oh yeah, absolutely. That's honestly, buddy, I was telling my family, I was like, the only time I'm really going to appreciate living in Texas is after Christmas. Because, you know, during Christmas, the lights are up, you know, like in normal parts of the country where you actually have winter, you know, the lights are up. There's a lot of festive stuff going on. You got the holiday cheer, even if it's not really as cheery because you're an adult now and you realize how much life kind of kicks you in the groin, especially in this time when it's everybody loves everybody. No, do it for the kids, but the parents are going crazy trying to buy stuff. I mean, back in the day when you had to actually go into stores. I mean, folks, Amazon didn't exist for all times. You know, you could order some things out of catalogs. But most of the time, you were going to Sears, you were going to KB Toys, you were going to Toys R Us, you were going to, you know, whatever the store was to pick and had to pick it up. And if they didn't have it there, you could look up in the phone book another address and find another Toys R Us and drive to that one 45 minutes away. And you could drive to another one and just know that everybody else in the entire country is doing the exact same thing you are. And most of them are looking for the exact same toys that you are. So yeah, things were a lot crazier back when I was a kid in terms of trying to find stuff. I think it's a miracle, kind of, that parents were able to do as well on Christmas. That there weren't more kids that just stopped believing in Santa just because Santa couldn't ever bring them what they asked for because everybody else was buying it. But you know, supply and demand was a little more fair back then, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, we don't even have that much. We don't even have that degree of difficulty, and yet I think people today are more miserable going on. But to your point, normal parts of the country. Well, I mean people that actually experience seasons, because there's not too many places in the United States, I think, that doesn't get a real Christmas. You got Florida, you got Nevada, I'm guessing, probably. I mean, it gets a little nippy in Nevada. I think I was out there close to, yeah, because I think I have a friend who has a birthday in December 5th, if I'm not mistaken. Brent? Shout out, buddy. Yeah, and it wasn't too bad. And again, but that's a dry heat, and it gets cold at night in Nevada, so not quite there. But like Arizona, but even Arizona, you can drive 3 miles, or not 3 miles, 3 hours, and be in the freaking mountains. You know. So California, that's another one. San Diego, beautiful, but who the hell wants palm trees and sand at Christmas time? It's supposed to be chill. It's supposed to be cool. It's supposed to have evergreen trees, not palm trees. It don't make no sense. So that's what I mean. There are some parts of the country, and Texas unfortunately falls into that, where it doesn't process Christmas the right way. I don't think you can have Christmas. Genuine Christmas doesn't happen. Santa does not deliver to places that are above 60 degrees in the wintertime. But yeah, I think January, February, and probably the first part of March is when I'm going to appreciate living in Texas the most. Because those are always very dreary, bitterly cold, gray, barren trees. Just that's the death. That's when nature dies. All that said, I still miss those. I'm craving it now. Oh, I want it so badly. Like, I mean, those cold, gray skies, the gray, barren trees, no leaves, no color, the bite in the air, but going out there and grabbing some firewood, bringing it inside, having a fire, knowing that just outside the window it's bleak and cold, but inside you're nice and warm, and have some eggnog, which I don't know why I included that, but it just sounds really good right now. You know, or hot apple cider. Watch the football game. Watch the 1992 Bills go toe-to-toe with the New York Giants. Take it down to the wire, the last play of the game. Despite some heroics by the Giants, the defense were able to hold them. John Kelly. Is it John Kelly? Yeah, John Kelly. Jim Kelly. His high-powered offense takes to the field. He marches him down, gets him within 40 yards. Yeah. It's not, if it's not cold enough to wear an ugly Christmas sweater, then it's not a real Christmas. Exactly. Yes. That is a very bizarre but accurate metric. Body bag. Yes. It should be so cold that the warmth that an ugly sweater provides is worth it. You're like, yeah, it's ugly, but it's warm. It's kind of like that song. What is it? If you want, I can't sing it because I can't sing worth a damn. But if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. So, from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. It's like, hey, baby, yeah, I saw your wife the other day. Yep, man, is she ugly? Yeah, but she can cook. Yeah, all right. I get. You can call it sexist as hell. It's a goofy song, but, and I'm pretty sure it's tongue in cheek. And I definitely do not encourage anybody to play that at their wedding. Do not put that on your playlist after you get married. Although there may be some truth to it. Anyway, but it's the same kind of thing. I'll take it ugly if it's functional. I will take an ugly sweater because a lot of times they're the warmest. Santa is German and has been around forever, and all I'm saying is I went out political party support in the 30s. Well, I think being at the North Pole, body bag, he was probably estranged from the politics of the day. Yeah, I think there hasn't been anything that we've seen in Santa's modus operandi that would indicate that he. I mean, it's a weird setup though. You got these elves. You work. Your commerce is one day a week, or your not one day a week. Your big day is one day out of the year. You have no income. Where's your money and time for R&D coming in? How are you producing these without, like, these complex toys without emitting things that should have made the North Pole swamp? You know, there's a lot of logistics in the whole Santa mythos that makes it strains credulity. It really does. But I don't know that Santa would have been. He might have noticed the decor was a little peculiar at that time, but I don't think he would have even noticed. Although, I don't know, I mean, naughty and nice. I mean, that's the thing. If we believe that Santa is benevolent and not omnipresent, omnipotent, which he has to be in order to do the things that he does, I think we have to acknowledge that his list, naughty and nice, is not subjective. If we're gonna buy into the Santa mythos, I don't know if it was that way in Germany or not, but at least the American version of Santa, he knows when you're naughty and nice, and those are not subjective. So I would think that he probably would take umbrage with what 1938's Time magazine's Man of the Year was up to. I'm sure he was on the naughty list, as were plenty of people in that day and age. Santa's been hiding in the South America since the 40s. No, body bag, dag nabbit. He's not going to migrate from the North Pole to the South Pole. He would just stay in the North Pole. That makes no sense. That's like aliens having stomach acid for blood. Ugnip, good evening, sir. How the heck are you? To what do we owe the honor, Ugnip? You are not in Magic the Gathering right now? How much time have you spent in that game? I gotta know, Ugnip. Seriously. You are there when for me, it's like 9 o'clock at night. Ugnip going strong. Going strong. I think it's safe to say you have been sucked in. I would be too if I could actually win something. If I could win a few games here and there, I think I would be much more addicted to it. Getting my teeth kicked in over and over again without even realizing what the heck is happening has made it where, like, okay, 30 minutes goes a long way. You know, I get on long enough to complete a quest because I don't have to win to complete a quest. I just have to execute X number of spells. So for me, I'm like, all right, I'm getting in here and I'm slowly building my collection. That's phase one. So that I can afford to, you know, build decks like you have. You know, you top 1%ers with your $7,000 accounts and whatnot. But yeah, but I've been watching videos like, you know, on outliers, people who figure stuff out that other people haven't, just trying to see how I can put something together that is functional and may actually work that maybe isn't out there, which I don't think when you have that many cards, I think a new player getting into Magic right now has the best chance of coming up with a deck that nobody else has seen success with, because I have no idea what's good and bad. And in fact, there was some card the guy was like, oh, this card is so broken. And it's a card that lets you play like, I don't even know. It was like 1 mana, I don't know. It was a card, he said, breaks the medium. And I looked at it, it's like literally 2 sentences. And it was like, I can't remember the name of it. But all it was like a land. And somehow that second sentence, like, I understand why Black Lotus was overpowered. A 0-cost artifact that gives you 3 mana, that's kind of a big deal. Like, I understand why that's a big deal. Some of these cards I just don't get, which means I'm not going to know a good card from a bad card ever. Or it's going to take me a while. So I think for a brief, my ignorance of what is good and bad is going to allow me to look at certain cards as viable when they really aren't. And that may just give me the edge I need. Wait. Is the South Pole in Argentina? No, it's not, Potty Bag. Oh, wait. I don't know, actually. It might be. Definitely not Santa conspiracy theories like that. Surely not. Every time I drop by here, it's a new weird discussion. That is kind of the hallmark of, especially with this, where it's like a stream that I'm, like, I want to finish it off because I said I would. And if there are people who have been watching this, I definitely want to finish the thing out for them. But I've decided that this format is not the best. But it really is just a chance to be able to talk with people without having to worry about playing a game. Like, it's kind of like what Live at 5 is, where I'm just kind of spectating the game. I might say something about it if the topic goes there, but usually people want to talk about anything but what's going on the screen, so I'm happy to oblige. I played 47 hours since I installed it. Not that much. Wait a minute. Okay, it's been a week, right, Ugnip? That's almost the equivalent of a full-time job. A week and a half. We'll say 10 days, right? Something like that. It's almost 5 hours a day. Every single day. It's true. It's not that much. If you were me, if you're a kind of part-time streamer, part-time worker with a little extra time, more extra time than you normally have, those hours sound about right. But yeah, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with that. It's just funny because I'll get on there and it's like one person's on. And it is Ugnip. He is building and figuring and working and playing. I mean, it's great. I'm excited for people that from Tesla to actually have a game that is like, whoa, I'm actually like engaged by this game. Like I actually like. It's not just like, all right, well. And I'll be honest, guys. I mean, that is kind of where I'm at. Like I'm getting excited to a degree. Like really with Magic. Like it's just so much unknown. Like I want to come up with decks that give me a noon advantage. I want to have a noon play where I'm just like, nope, sorry. Bet you thought you were going to win, but I win instead. Unfortunately, the starter decks, like I'm at the point now where I don't win anything by playing against other starter decks, so I have to play against like quasi-constructed. It's called like Sparks. I don't know what, I can't remember what it's called. But essentially, it's you can build any deck you want, and I'm still playing with pre-constructed, and they are gimpy as hell. Yeah, Body Bag installed 48 hours ago. Are you really, Ugnip? Nice, watching videos, and yes, I think so too. Now is the best time in a while. I have a card that does the same as that 10-cost guy in Tessel. You can't lose. Oh, wait, are you talking about not Vivek? Is it Vivek? Yeah, Vivek, right? 5 cost, but you can exalt him to 10, and you can't lose if he's in play. It was Ugnip. So the first 20 episodes or 19 episodes I did were like, oh, and that's it. No, it's not. Is it? No. Okay. There we go. I forgot to cut that part out of the video at the very beginning. There we go. I was like, no, we still got another. Yeah, we still got some time. I thought that was a little fast. But yeah, it used to be, I played this game like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, and got the footage, and then I've had the videos, and each of the video, I mean, because these things are, you know, an hour to hour and 45 to an hour and a half long, 45 minutes to an hour and a half long. So, you know, they're like pretty significant size, but I've kept them on a hard drive. I was like, okay, and then I would just record. I would do what I'm doing now, but I would just do it, just wouldn't be a stream. It would just be making a video. But then I realized I'm almost never talking about the game because I'm not playing it, so I don't have a stream of consciousness with it. But so I was like, so I'm just talking about whatever. And I'm like, well, you know what? If I'm going to talk about whatever, I might as well talk to other people about whatever. If somebody comes along, we have having a great conversation, that'll make it more worthwhile and less of a grind. So the series will finish out as a live stream, even though technically I am not using my hands. Don't pretend as it 12 days at least, Ugnip. Is that what is that your claim? So almost 2 weeks. So what that means then, Ugnip, though, is that you had probably 2 or 3 days where you were just kind of getting familiar with it and whatever, maybe dabbling here and there, and then for the last like 7 days, you've just hit it hard, which is pretty much like full-time job hours. Don't pretend as if you have that many more friends there in Magic. No, I only got 2. Like, well, there's only 2. It's you and Baldric, really. I think are the only 2 on my. Oh, well, then Captain, Cryptic Commander. Yeah, you guys are only 3 on my friends list, so I don't have that many more friends. You should, Body Bag. Have you played it? Yep, Arena. Also mobile. I don't remember which Magic the Gathering game, but it had bad app reviews. People said it constantly crashes. Ooh. So at the time I decided not to download it, but it was like 2 years ago. Yeah. We found out Ugnip is playing the Magic the Gathering version of Invade. So then it's not that weird. I am one of the few that might be online. No. What I'm just saying is, like, it's standard operating procedure. Like, if I get on there and you're not on, I'm going to be like, hey, has anybody heard from Ugnip? Because, like, if I'm on and he's not on, there's a problem. There's something is not right here. That would just be weird. It just so happens, Ugnip, that the few times however many times I've got on, I think there was one time for a brief period that you weren't on. So it's been you're like a staple. You're a part of the game. It's like, you know, you have the different things you can do, your different quests, and then down there is a 1 demarking that I have 1 friend there, and it is Ugnip. So it is ubiquitous. Although to be fair, I don't know how long I'm on there either. I'm trying to learn the thing, and that's the other part that sucks. Once you get out of, like, once you get away from, like, why I wanted to play with on the computer so much is, like, I'm taking forever because every single card that I'm playing and every card I'm playing against, I have to read the text. I have no idea what they do. And then it looks like I'm roping, but I'm just trying to learn the damn thing. And then I'm so scared that I don't understand how if my attacks are going to go through or not, despite casting a spell that I like have them all attack. And then it looks like BMing too, because I only needed to do 3 damage to one guy. Like last night, out of 5 games, I won 1, or 4 games, I won 1. And it wasn't even close. I think it was somebody who was even newer than I am. But at the very end, I needed to do 3 damage. And I had maybe 8 damage on the board, I think. And in my mind, as far as I could tell, he couldn't block. But we could only block 1 of them. But I didn't know, so I sent them all in, and only to just have boom, 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 all of them hit the face. And I'm like, I didn't need it. All I needed was 1 guy to hit. but I didn't know if he could play something in the last minute that would steal the game away. So I just had them all go in. I just went all in on it, and I don't know if that comes across as BM or if, you know, if that's just okay. That's what you do because of the way the game is set up. It's just weird. It's weird. But yeah, body bag would be great. It'd be great. I mean, if it does work on mobile, like it would be very, very frustrating, obviously, to have it kick you out. But if it does work on mobile, it'd be great to have you over there as well. But I gotta say though, man, I think navigating would be, because unlike Tesla, that most of it, like with the exception of, I don't know, maybe a handful of cards, everything you need to know is like one sentence. Like Tazcat, charge, breakthrough. When Tazcat dies, spawns a 4/4, whatever. And there's nothing special about the 4/4. Magic, it's like the Magic version of Tazcat would be, was it trample, and whatever their word is for char. I don't think it's charge, but it's trample, and it makes sense. I don't know. It's intuitive. You understand what it means, but it's like trample, whatever, and it would be Tazcad. When Tazcat attacks, when Tazcat takes damage exceeding his health level, Tazcat produces a 4/4 token goblin that is tapped, or I mean, and cannot, and has blah blah blah, can be exiled to graveyard for 65 points. And can be regurgitated if you tap 3 lands. So it's like a paragraph long, and you go, wait, why? What's the difference between a token and a regular one? And to be fair, they do tell you, but it's very, very small print. Like, I mean, for on a phone, you'd be like tapping and going, okay, crap, what does a token mean? Okay, well, we know what a token is, but like, okay, what is a 4/4? Okay, that's what that is. Okay, why does it have to do this? What does exile do? Okay, if it goes in the grave, okay, well, why would I want to do that in the first place? And then, when it dies, you would have to say, do you accept the terms? Do you accept the thing? And you're like, I guess so. And then it's like, okay, it's asking for mana for something. What am I signing up for here? Okay, now it's gone. Where did it go and why did it go? Okay, so it's exiled. Why is that different than the graveyard? What can I do? And then, you know, in theory, you find a card, I'm guessing somewhere that's like, oh, here's a way to interact with your exiled cards. But you got to sort all that out. It's not straightforward. So it's a lot of small print, a lot of fine print. That's the way to say it. Too long, didn't listen. Magic has a lot of fine print, literally and figuratively. So it may be a bit of a challenge on a mobile device. That's the only bummer that I can think of. And to be fair, body bag, from what I can tell, like Magic folks try to find invade. They've tried to find ways to play invade. They try to create their invade. They want to find the way to break a mechanic. Find a card that's just OP as hell and run it until people find a counter for it. That's kind of the gist. That's kind of the vibe I get. Like that is when you've got, I think they've got 30,000 cards by this point, or 20,000. Now, not all of them are playable in every format, of course. But there are a crap ton in every format. And the goal is figure out how to mush things together so that you can noon people. And by the way, it's pronounced this way. I'm going to make this a thing, folks. That is the term. It's called it's pronounced noon, and it stands for no, comma, I win now. And it's like your opponent plays 1 or 2 cards in the blink of an eye, and everything is effed. You are totally foobar. You have no idea what just happened. You didn't even know they could do that when they did it. You were on the attack as far as you knew. They were setting up as blockers, and then suddenly, your cards are gone. And then you look down at your hand, and 2 cards vanish out of your hand. And then your computer shuts down. All because they played blah into blah into blah, and because they had blah into blah into blah on play already, and they had already unlocked blah blah blah, and they had already tapped this and that, well, that meant kablooey. Duh.
God damn it. You okay?
What, you met the Ugnip bot? Do I feel I understand a little more each time? Yeah. I do. So here's the thing. I gather, Ugnip, here's the distinction. I gather more data. I gather more pieces of information each time, but I don't necessarily know. They're pieces of a puzzle. Instead of, here we go. Fog of War. Y'all play like RTSs, real-time strategies. You know, you have a fog of war, and if you send every time a creature moves somewhere, the fog of war gets dissipated. And even if you don't remember it, at least it's not under fog of war anymore. It might not be accurate, like it may not be like up to real time, but you at least know what the landscape is and everything. That's how it felt like when I played Tessel, and that's how it feels when I play a lot of games. The fog of war lifts as I move forward, as I progress, as I make my way around. More of the environment becomes visible, understandable, perceivable, relatable, and I can work with it. I understand it, and I can move around in it. The Magic the Gathering is like being given a piece of a puzzle, like one of those like 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzles, where you look at it and go, okay, it's got a blotch of green in it, and there's some black, and there's 2 white stripes. I have no clue what this is, what it does, but I know that I'm holding a piece that has 2 white stripes. And are they vertical stripes? I don't know. Maybe it's oriented this way, in which case they're horizontal. Maybe it's oriented this way, and they're vertical. Or maybe, somehow, it may be like this, and they're actually diagonal. I don't know. But that's all I know, is that I've got this one piece. I don't know how it fits in with everything else. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to put it down yet. Because there may be rules that tell me that I can't put this particular piece down when I want to put it down. So I just have to hold on to it and try to put it down. The game's like, nope, you can't put it down. Okay, I'll just hold on to it then, I guess. How about this piece? Nope, can't put it down. Okay. This one I can put down. I can put that. Okay, good. I put that one down. What is it? What am I doing with it? Oh, it's gone now. It's gone. My opponent just whisked it away. It's gone. Oh, or no, now it transformed into something else. Well, now, okay. Well, maybe that was a piece of some bigger picture, but I don't know because it's gone now. That's kind of what it's like. This game is hard to not BM a bit, I think. Yeah, especially now. Here we go. Here's the little bit of knowledge that I do have. Instants. Instants are, that's not instance like for instance, but an instant is a spell or an ability or an action that you can play pretty much at any phase. So I can be ready to go. I've said I'm going to attack. My opponent says I'm going to block. I say I'm attacking. And then after I say I'm attacking, my opponent can be like, nope, you're not. And vice versa. I mean, I can do it too. I think I did it once. And usually if your opponent's about to attack you with a card that is an unfavorable trade for them, you pretty much can guarantee they've got an instant in their hand. And as soon as you say, oh, I'm going to block you I'm going to block your 5/3 with my little 3/2, and your guy's going to die because I'm blocking it with my 3/2. And after you've committed to it, you said, I'm going to block you with my 3/2. He goes, oh, right. Oopsie, I forgot. I've got a plus 5/5 that I'm going to put. It would be like, and there's no equivalent really. You just do the things when you want to do them. So but to your point, Ugnib, I think that kind of thing makes it very hard not to BM because you never know what your opponent may or may not be able to do. It's not just like a Tesla. Like, you have no runes left. You have no guards. You're dead. Like, I can kill you with this one hit. Not in Magic the Gathering. They can put a rune back. They can take the board away. They may move their face. They can move their face across the board. They can move it somewhere else altogether. And you're just sitting there going, what happened to your face? I thought I was hitting your face. Not only did they move their face, but now their face is going to bite you in the ass. And now you're dead. Yeah, Trample Breakthrough. I just couldn't remember what their version of Charge was. I played Magic the Gathering for maybe a year back in like 01, and I don't remember a single thing about the game other than tapping lands to play cards. That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, body bag. I mean, that's the easy part. To me, the hardest part is, and I crap you and I watched a video on how to do this because, I mean, Cryptic Commander was great. He was fantastic. He taught me a lot about it. But like I need visuals as well sometimes, and I need to be able to process. It's like while I'm trying to play, like it was good. It was good, but I just needed to get rehashed. So I'm watching other videos, and it's like there are 5 phases for each turn, and then each phase has a step or has several steps in it. So you're at the main phase or the upkeep phase, but then there's like 3 steps in the upkeep phase. And certain cards can be played at that point. And then you go into the planning phase, and then the preparation phase, and then the attack phase, and then the post-attack phase, and then the post-attack party phase. And then the defensive phase. Actually, defense is probably up there somewhere else. And then the cooling down phase. And then the tidying up your deck phase. And then the pass the turn phase. And they all have like 25 steps. I mean, it makes it exponentially easier to have it in a digital format. But good gravy. Like if you had 2 people, I remember trying to play, there was a Star Wars card game that was pretty much a clone of Magic, same card style, same everything. It just had different. The difference is they had the Imperial logo on the back of Imperial cards and the Rebel sign, and you only had the Empire and Rebels. You didn't have all these different factions and colors. And I sat down with my friend in the library at school because we were super cool. So we're in the library at school and we're trying to play this really cool, awesome Star Wars card game in 1996. And we got the little rule book. We're trying to figure out what the crap we're supposed to do. It was impossible to figure out. It was the most convoluted, and that's what Magic is. Magic would be, if you had 2 people that didn't know how to play the game, I guarantee you they would not be playing it correctly. You have to be taught by somebody who knows how to play, has been playing for a while. 2 people that don't know it, guarantee you they're gonna screw up at least 2 or 3 things on the regular. Things that just, wait, why can't I play? Oh, you mean I couldn't play this at that point, but I can't play it here? Okay, it's a mind job. It really is. Yeah, decks are 60 plus cards. You want to have the average is 24 lands in a deck. Ideally, you want at least 4 of those to be dual color, so that you have roughly 16 of each color if you're playing multiple colors. But 24, you can go as low as I think 20 and as high as 28. But anything more or less than that is probably dumb. But you have that flexibility depending on what kind of deck you're running, whether it's high on draw power or whatever. But yeah, 60 cards. 24 of them land. Tapping land allows it to be played. Once you play a creature, once you attack with it, you tap it to, pretty much tapping is just saying this resource, whether it's a card or whether it's a creature or a spell or I don't know if you tap spells or not. I think you just discard them, right? You play it, you say here's the effect, you put the counters on, and I think you discard at that point. But whether it's a creature or a land, you tap it to indicate that it's been used for that turn, and therefore it cannot be used until your following turn, which means defensively, if it's a creature, you don't get to play it. But anyway, let's see. Do you accept to take all that damage from the opponent? No! Okay, I do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I will actually, like, I've tried that, saying no, and then it's like, the game just, okay. You can hit cancel and accept yes. You can't say no, but yeah, it does. It's like, and this big body's gonna hit the board. Is that okay with you? No. Why are you telling me this? I don't like why. And that's one of the bummers about it. I like the flexibility because, like, body bag. This is something we had talked about. Well, not you and I, but like I think Ugnip and I mentioned it. Like you're because when you play against the computer, like sometimes the computer will give you like a +1/+3 on one of your cards. It's like an artifact that gives you that bonus. You're like, why would you do that? And honestly, we still don't know why the computer did it. But you think about if your only removal that you have in hand is Fell the Mighty, and your opponent's got a 3/6, has got the Hive Defender. If you could give him a Scimitar, then he's going to be big enough for you to use your action on. So I like that flexibility in Magic the Gathering that allows you to, if you want to buff a creature, your opponent's creature, in theory, to enable some action or enable some kind of weird thing that you want to do, you can do that. It lets you do whatever the heck you want. But the problem is, if you've got one card in your hand that's like a buff or it's like an instant like thing to help your card, to help your cards, because it can technically be played against anything else, every time your opponent makes a move, it's going to ask you, do you want to do something about it? Like, why are you asking me if I want to give this guy who's beating my face in +2/+2? No, of course I don't want to do that. Or it's a card like, give +2/+2 if these conditions are met at the start of your turn. I'm like, well, I don't really know when my turn starts, to be honest. And if I play it too early, my opponent's going to just do something to it. But if I play it too late, then I don't get to play it at all because I missed the opportunities. It's just messed up. Digging through endless boxes of cards, building decks based on art and themes and not based on mechanics. That's me, Body Bag. 100% guaranteed. 100%. My first deck is going to be on the things that I think look cool and sound cool. If it looks degenerate or it looks weird or I don't like the art because it, like there's a wide, like Tesla, I feel like you had more, maybe 2, maybe 3 art styles pretty much over the run of it. There was like the hyper realistic that almost looks like it's just doctored live stuff. There's just very, very high quality art. And then there's, you know, the art that, you know, it's better than what I could do, especially, you know, quickly, but it doesn't have a lot of the detail and it just doesn't look terribly exciting. The armor is just like a very basic breastplate with very basic pauldrons, and the guy's face might not look exactly proportionate. Magic is drastic differences in print. Some of them look amazing, like, let me find this in a life-size print or a, you know, full-size print. And some of them, or a lot of them, are just like, oh gosh, like this is definitely a product of its time. Came out in 1993. There are definitely some cards that look like they were drawn by somebody who was not necessarily a gifted artist in 1993. So yeah, I won't have ugly artwork in my deck. It's just not going to happen. If I have to look at the card, if I have to read the card and spend that much time with the card and be that intimate with the card, I need to like it. I need to think it's cool. And that is how I'm going to build my decks, damn it. I have made a cat deck, a bat deck, an elf deck, and an angel deck. Oh, and a vampire bat deck. Of course, vampire bat fish deck, right? Didn't I show you just this? I think my dino deck yeah, Ugnip, every deck you played against me rampaged me. Destroyed me. Every one. Ugnip's like, oh, here's this little thing I put together. Do you mind if I show it to you? I'm like, sure, go ahead. Turn 4, I'm done. Like, crush. I think, Ugnip, your Drain for Pain deck, I believe the final score, and Buddy Bag, you have 20 health instead of 30. I think Ugnip had 42 health or 58 health, I think. And I had 0. That's how the game ended. So he drained for like 28 points of damage. Or he drained for 28 points. And managed to kill me within... Like, you know how Ring of Namira combo is like really hard to pull off? They've got 2 different cards, at least in his deck, that were... if you heal, do damage. 2 different cards. And you can have 4 of every single, I think, except for Planewalkers, right? I think you can have 4 of every single card except for Planewalkers. Or Legendaries, I guess. Or Unique Legendaries or Mystics or something. There's certain cards you can only have 1 of, I think. Every other card you can have 4 of. So you can have these cards that he had. It's Ring of Namira. But it's cheap enough to be played in conjunction with other cards. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I got wrecked by everything that Ugnip has played so far. I have no idea what I'm doing either, but I do notice both me and my opponents are playing faster and possibly better than I was in bronze rank. I don't even know that I'm in bronze rank. I think I'm still in Sparky rank or whatever the heck that thing is. Where it's like, okay, you're not really good enough to actually play with real people, so these are just elaborate bots, I'm pretty sure. You did use an instant on stream when you were supposed to, after the opponent chose blocker. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've used like unsummon, but I'm holding my breath because I'm not sure if that was the right time to do it or not. Like I played cards that give my creature plus whatever attack damage, but then when I actually go to play it, the turn's over. I don't know. I don't know. So I did not. I did that. Yes, Ugnip, I did do that, but I didn't do it confidently. I did it because I was hoping that that was the right time to do it, and I was afraid that if I waited, I wasn't going to get to play it later on. So opponent can just be considering if he should do stuff even on your turn. And I mean, I do kind of like that. You're not. It's not really like there is constant interaction. You're never just. It's never just your turn. A lot of times, and I mean, I think to be fair, it's a little bit of a giveaway. And I don't know how do you do it in live action, or how do you do it live, because the game kind of stops everything. Like you're okay, so you're doing something. If there's a pause and you can't do anything, it says like opponent's doing thing or whatever, then that indicates that your opponent has a card in theory that could do something to screw up what you're trying to do, but it may not be what they want to do, or it may not be the right card or something. How do you do that? I mean, do you just go, oh, hang on a second, dude. Hey, stop your turn. I'm going to play now. Or do they just know, I played this. Do you want to play a card? No, I'm good. Go ahead. Like, I don't know if that's how. I'd be curious to see a live game and how they interact, how they do those interactions. Because the game stops you from doing anything. You can't override what your opponent's doing if it's technically their turn or their part of the phase. But in real life, I don't know who stops who or how they stop. Like, how do you say, oh, I've got an instant that I'm going to play in an instant. Rush, that's it. Yeah, Ugnip, thank you. Yes, Rush, that's it. Rush and... Forgot it already. But yeah, Trample. Rush and Trample instead of Charge and Breakthrough. A turn in a Magic game consists of 5 phases in this order. Beginning phase, pre-combat... Look at Ugnip trying to show me up. I think my breakdown of it was far more accurate. Beginning phase, pre-combat, main phase, combat phase, post-combat, main phase. Okay, so here's the thing. Body bag, you see that? Do you see that? Like, I was saying it as a joke, but that to me looks like a joke. That to me looks like it's a spoof. Beginning phase, pre-combat main phase, combat phase, post-combat main phase, ending phase. Come on! That couldn't be more confusing. It's the same thing when they do common, uncommon, rare. Like, I think Tessel has it there. I think it's better at Tessel. Your commons, your rares, your epics, your legendaries. Is that it? Common, rare, epic, legend. Yeah. But like common and then uncommon, like pre-combat main, call it prep. You know? Beginning prep or beginning stage. I don't know, something, but it's just like it's confusing. I think his phone crashed trying to install it. Did it? You're eating. Oh, okay. I download it later when I'm in the mood to play. I will say, Body Bag, you are going to get a lot of cards. You're not going to have any idea what to do with them, but they are going to give you a lot of stuff when you sign up. There's a lot of stuff. You can't dust anything, so what you get, you're stuck with. But you do get a lot of stuff to kind of get you going. Ugnip, have you ever had a Sloppy Joe sandwich? I hope so. There technically is no limit to how many cards you want to use. That's very true. That's very true. You could have a 100-card deck, I think, if you wanted to. Oh, nice. Ugnip has had a Sloppy Joe. I haven't had one in a long time, but they are freaking good. Have you installed the deck tracker I told you to? No, Ugnip. I don't even have a deck yet, Ugnip. I have not even built a gosh darn deck yet. I have no use for a deck, for a whatever you call that, deck tracker. Like I need to actually have enough understanding of the game to build a deck that I think could work before I start getting into the nuts and bolts of a deck tracker. Like I'm still at the if we were to summarize my using their 5 phases, if we were to summarize where I'm at with the game, beginning phase, like the first step in beginning phase. I've been playing it for what, maybe 10 hours so far. And I am very much in the beginning phase. I have a bunch of pieces. Now here's the thing. I will, to the well, it's to my credit, but just to be fair to the game, I'm somebody that my brain assembles a bunch of pieces. I was talking about all the different pieces. It assembles all of them, and then it clicks. There's somewhere in there all the pieces fit together. But until that moment, everything is just the heck. And then it's just like a random thing. It's like all the pieces are kind of there, but they don't make sense until that middle piece or this other piece hits, and then I go, oh, there we go. That all makes sense. And I enjoy it. I look forward to that. But as I said, losing and not even know why or how I lost is a little discouraging. So it's tempering my enthusiasm. It's stopping me from becoming an Ugnip. Like I'm not logging 47 hours in that much time. I'm too perplexed too often. I can only be perplexed in perpetuity for so much time, and before I just go, okay, I just don't get it, I guess. I'll come back tomorrow and try it again. That makes it much more easy to see what's up. It's kind of tracking turn by turn as well. I admit you want flashy angels like the one I got coming up. Yeah, and you wouldn't even tell me, Ugnip. You just said, oh, I just buy them. But like, how do you buy them? Is that the orb thing you were talking about? Like, how do I? Because I don't see they don't have like a premium option. So how do you tell it I want the cool thing where the angels pop out? Like, what do I got to do to make that happen? And it doesn't help. Like, you got terms like commander, planeswalker, but I've seen planeswalker refer to kind of hero cards, most of which aren't even playable in standard, by the way. Like, that's the other thing too. Like a Tessel, if I watched a video on somebody who was doing something with Legends, and I was like, ooh, I really like that card, I don't have to worry about if I can play that card. I can play the card. As long as I can craft the card, I can play the card. Whereas here, I was like, I saw a bunch of cards that I really liked. Like Ugnip, there was a card, because in the standard decks they give you, they say these are decks that can be played in the standard or alchemy format. Now I'm thinking it means when it says standard or alchemy, I think that means either one. It means one or the other, because there was one of the decks that I tried to construct, and it's got like a merman guy on it, and it's a draw 7. It's a 7 cost, draw 7 in blue. And I was looking for that card because I was like, I want to see if there's other cards like it, see if I can put, because I think that's a really cool card. I'd like to have that card. It's only playable in alchemy. You can't play it in standard. So that's another part of it too. You see a really cool card, whether it's online or just by looking around, or even just in the main collection, and then you go into the version of the game that you want to play, and it's not even available. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, that sucks. But I do. I like the flashy angels. I do, Ugnip. I think white is going to be one of. I think I'm going to try to go 2 colors. I think white just has to be one of the ones, because I like more of those cards. Like black cards, probably never. I like their hard removal, and that's about it. I think they're creepy, like even worse than endurance. Like they're the creepy bastards of Magic. I don't want anything to do with the black cards. And again, I'm talking about the attribute color, not the ethnicity or the race of the people on the card. In today's age, you need to clarify. But I can't decide if I want green, if I wanted to go with red. I actually was looking at blue and green, because they're typically not colors that go well together, but I like cards from both. And I think I could make something like that work. So, and that's my problem. Like, I can't even go angels because I'm not even entirely sure if that's what I want to do, because I don't know I don't know what my play. I mean, I kind of know what I'd like to play, but I don't know if that works with what the cards are doing, because half the time I can't tell what the card actually does. Like, I get it, but I'm like, if all it does is what it looks like on the card, on the face of it, this is a very unimpressive card. But I've seen it. If it's in tandem with 6 other cards you run in your deck, then it's unstoppable. And I just have to make those connections. One Planewalker, but it's at a time. Okay. So you can have 4 in a deck. Same go for Legend. Oh, really? Okay. As in one at a time on the board. Oh, I see. Okay. At a time. I get you. So you can have 4 Planewalkers in your deck, but you can only have one of them played at a time. That makes sense. Okay, I like that. Why do I sit here and think of Sloppy Joes? I know, right, Ugnip? I'm like, oh, that sounds really good, actually. Better than thinking about pineapple pizza. Preach, body bag, preach. To the hills, to the valleys. Better than pineapple pizza. Very few things aren't, to be fair. Watch Honey Badger appear because I said that with no word. I know, right? I had to look down. Nope, okay, he's not there. You said the no word. Well, you didn't say it favorably. Well, which actually should have summoned him. They should have summoned him. Good thing you mentioned this secret pizza. That didn't make it any better to think of Sloppy Joes. I know, right? The one thing I hate about card games is cartoon artwork or graphics. That's what made me download Tesla. It was the only card game that looked like old school Magic the Gathering. Yep. Yes, I think they had premium options in the orb thingy.
Pick my moment.
Alchemy equals the last 2 years collection. Standard equals 5, I think it is. Well, so wait a minute then, Ugnip. So that card should have been available in Standard then, right? It was playable in Alchemy, but it was not. I could not. So like when how we selected how you select, what type you want to play. I put Standard, and well, first I just found the card in general. I found what the card's name was. It's in blue. It's a 7 cost. So okay, I know where that is. And then I put in Standard, and the card goes away. And I started going through down the list. When I hit Alchemy, it popped back up that I could actually include it. Go back to Standard, it goes away. So for some reason, I'm sure that's probably what it is. But then I'm wondering, why is that card not playable in? Why can't I put that in my deck when I put the parameter of Standard on the deck? When I say I'm building a card, this deck for Standard, that card is not available to me. I was in error, by the way. I now noticed. Right, it was 97 hours, right, of playtime in the past 14 days. 97 hours. Standard 2 to 3 years. Okay, so yeah, which but I think Ugnip, what you were saying is the newest deck. It was either you or somebody else told me the newest deck, the whatever it's called. I don't even remember what it's called. But the newest deck is, or the newest set, Frontiers, I think, is going to be good for 5 years. There you go. This set that came out now 5 years. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I heard that it was usually a 3-year cycle, but they're saying 5. But I also saw, Ignip, there's a guy, it's called the College of something or other. He's a really nice guy. Really nice guy. I think I just like him as a person. He seems like a cool dude. Like, because he was cheesed off, because apparently, I'm not cheesed off. He was not happy. Because apparently Magic said, not only are SpongeBob and Transformers and all these other IPs going to be included in Standard play in the near future. They're going to integrate them into Standard play. But they are also half of the new decks that are going to come out, or the new collections, or the new boosters, or whatever you want to call them. Half of those are going to be new IPs. Fast and the Furious, SpongeBob Spider-Man, Transformers obviously have already come out, but like those are going to be part of the game. So you could sit down in a standard format game and be playing somebody with this is the cool part. Am I high enough down there? I think I am. See, this is when the game gets fun. So we got our Unkempt Heralds. We just got our Unkempt Heralds. I'm going to become a badass. Dual wielding Unkempt Heralds in this game is ridiculous. I am truly the baddest of asses right now. That is the best gun in the game. Fight me. But yeah, so that is going to be. So he's like, look, he said, I don't have problems with people who gets. He's like, if it brings you into the game, that's great. I don't mind playing against you, but it is a little immersion break. It does take you out of the lore a little bit when you're sitting there playing with your, whatever. And he's like, and most of the sets we've had recently are just the normal cards with different costumes on. He's like, okay, the last one we had was these same characters, but now they're in Old West getup. And these characters, but now they're in, like, it's a racing motif. And now it's the characters in space. So they're not necessarily, I don't know. It doesn't deter me necessarily, but that is something to keep an eye on, is that they are going to be, there's going to be a lot more that you will be able to play against a SpongeBob deck, or a deck that has SpongeBob in it. and just wrecked with the unkempt Herald. Look at that. Absolutely devastating. Unstoppable, some might say. Foundations, yes, that's what it's called. That's what it's called. Yeah, the name of the guy who did the video, it's like I said, it's the College of. It's one of the. I think it's one of the deck expansion names. He's been around for a long time, and again, he was very nice about it. Like I said, he was like, I don't want you to feel bad about liking these. I don't want you to feel bad about being excited for them. But somebody who's been playing this game for however many years, I do. It's not something. I also am not going to lie about the fact that I'm sad about it or that I'm not thrilled about it. But who doesn't like pineapple on their pizza? Pepperoni. Oh, Carlos. Carlos. I thought you and I were going to be friends. I thought we were going to have common ground to stand upon. I thought we understood each other in a very fundamental way, being retro gamers and all. But when you say stuff like that. Maybe you were just asking, who doesn't like pineapple on their pizza? Pineapple pizza, jalapeno all day, indigestion. And maybe you forgot to put that word in there. Pineapple on pizza is an abomination. It would be like taking a copy of Little Samson and dipping it in a vat of poop. That's what that is. That's what pineapple on pizza is. We don't. Boy. Well, things are taking a dark turn here. Dark turn for me and Carlos. I was like, hey man, if I ever have a kid, you're gonna be the godfather. not if he's gonna be trying to feed my goddaughter or godson or my daughter or son, I guess it would be. Pineapple pizza. No indeed. I will absolutely refuse to play SpongeBob vs. Pokemon. I don't know if they didn't mention Pokemon as a possible IP. That was not in the rotation. But Fast and Furious was, Spider-Man, SpongeBob, what else? And they've got other Marvel ones in the works. There was one other one that I was like, oh gosh, really? But then they didn't even do, they did Lord of the Rings, but it doesn't even look right. It just, none of the characters, it's like, granted, I have images now in my head of Lord of the Rings from the movies, but they just don't look gosh, I don't know. Alert. Glad we have someone speak up for pineapple jalapeno. What? Oh, Ugnip, I see. When it was me and Body Bag decrying pizza, you just stayed silent. You bided your time. You laid low in the weeds, made us think that you were safe, that you were rational, that you were reasonable. And then as soon as you have one person who has the same ridiculous ideas that you do, you're like, pounce. I worked as a manager in a pizza restaurant for 12 years. I know what most people want on it. And no, it's not pineapple. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, now I'm confused. Don't yuck my yum. I've never heard that phrase before. Lagmeister, not you too. No, why? Por qué, Lagmeister. Et tu, Lagmeister. You and Carlos. Oh, destroying the credit. Destroying your social credit. Oh my gosh. On the Kirby stream today, as much as it pains me to say this, I don't want to see your faces. I don't want you to show up to anything I do anymore. Talking about pineapple on pizza. No. Rage. Oh, I actually prefer cold pineapple on it, not cooked. Pepperoni jalapeno pizza with nacho cheese instead of pizza sauce. Don't even call it pizza then, Lagmeister. Just call it an abomination of things that are technically edible. That's what you should call it. We'll make it an acronym. Things that are technically TT. Well, TTATE. TTATE. Today. That's what you're eating. You're eating today. Things that are technically edible. That's it. That's what that is. Good ending on the stream. I know, right? I know. The drama. Oh, the drama. Alfredo sauce on pizza? To me, that is transformative. It is no longer I like it. Oh no, I don't think I've ever had that. I've had a Philly cheesesteak. I don't think I've ever had Alfredo on pizza. I mean, technically, it's not. I have to think about this. So from a taste perspective, it's just like dipping a breadstick in Alfredo sauce. As long as it doesn't have pineapple on it, I think it's okay. I think we're okay, but I still would be hesitant to call it a pizza, because a pizza, it's got to be comprised of certain pieces, and as soon as you start mixing and matching and taking those pieces out, eventually you just have a flat breadstick with Alfredo sauce and chicken. You have Alfredo, chicken Alfredo, sub, bread, hold, noodles. Like that. That's what you have. It's not a pizza. It's Alfredo with different carbs. That's what it is. I think it's good. It's good. It transforms the pizza. Al Pastor tacos also have pineapple. Well, I'm making a list of food that I will never eat, and I will add Al Pastor tacos to my list of things that I will never eat. I like tacos. I like burritos. I like enchilada. I like the whole shebang, the whole enchilada. Not if you stick pineapple in it. Pineapple has a very specific place. It's usually solo. It can be used with cottage cheese on occasion and yogurt. That's it. That is the full extent of yogurt's pairings. Successful pairings, cottage cheese and yogurt. Not a mas. Nope, that's it. You stick pineapple with anything else? Nope. No. I'm more of a tomato sauce fan. Well, I mean, and that's a pizza. Pizza is tomato sauce, cheese, meats of different kinds, true, genuine veggies of different kinds. Cottage cheese, gross. Well, of course you're going to say that, Carlos. Of course you're going to say that. We've established that there is something very wrong with your taste buds. That there is something very, very wrong going in this area here. This part of the body is not good. There's a problem right here. So I understand why you would be appalled by cottage cheese. I mean, it just makes sense. Like, once you realize somebody's absolutely crazy, you know, when they say that rational idea makes no sense to me, I say, oh, of course it doesn't, because you're crazy. You say crazy things. I can't expect a crazy person to have rational thoughts. I mean, one may creep in here and there. Clearly, you all have been perpetrating. You're like, oh, let's pretend we're just normal, rational, sane people. We're gonna say all the right things. I got it written down on a notebook here somewhere, and then whoops, it slips out. Pineapple on pizza. No, we've been exposed. Teriyaki chicken and pineapple is good. Okay, you know what? Oh, there we go. There's our common ground. Here's my compromise. Yes. Pineapple, the tang of pineapple with sweet and sour or teriyaki does work. Because teriyaki is wired in such a way, it is created and crafted in such a way that it pairs with pineapple. I overlooked that exception. Pineapple, chicken, and sweet and sour or teriyaki is actually very good. I have had it, and it is very good. But here's the thing, Ugnip. If you could have a cake, any cake that you want, why would you want pineapple in it? You would just say, give me a good cake. Like, if I'm going to eat cake, if I'm going to take in those carbs, I'm going to take in all that sugar, it's got to be a good cake. I'm not saying a pineapple cake would be the worst thing, but if I could have any other cake, I would have that one. So there's not going to be a reality where I say, oh, please, can I have some pineapple cake? If they're like, I'm starving and it's day 40, and they're like, well, we got some pineapple cake, and that's about it. I'll be like, okay, I will have some pineapple cake because I am dying and I need to eat something. But if you say, hey, would you like a cake? Yes. What kind of cake would you like? Pineapple doesn't even make the list. It's not even in the realm of, doesn't even flutter in there. Chocolate cake, strawberry cake, any kind of cake, really. And yes, that is true. I have a lot of other cakes I'd rather have. See, there you go. There you go. That's what it comes down to. What would you choose? Same thing with pizza. There are 3,000 other kinds of pizza that I would like. 3,000. I would count them all for you, but it would take too much of our time. 3,000 pieces or 3,000 things that I would rather have on my pizza, including concrete. Little chunks of concrete. I would rather have little chunks of concrete on my pizza than pineapple. And I think that is a rational and reasonable position to take. That's true, but sometimes you just want to eat something nasty, like Lunchables. Fair enough. I have had some bologna in my day. I've had some processed stuff. But again, Lunchables, probably not really good for you at all, ever. I'll take that over pineapple on pizza. I actually, this is the crazy thing. I actually, on a stream for Tessel, it was probably about a month ago now, or at least 2 or 3 weeks ago, we're live at 5. I actually ordered a pineapple pizza. It was pineapple and ham, I think, which I'm not a big fan of ham on pizza, but at least I'm okay with it in general. And I genuinely thought, I thought I remembered having pineapple on pizza at one point, and I didn't mind it too much. Wasn't my favorite, but I'm probably going to like it more than I thought. I was starving, and I kind of had to force myself to eat it. It was appalling. It really wasn't. So I was hoping that I could pretend to be grossed out by what I was eating, and play it up a little bit for laughs, oh gosh, it's so terrible. But it was like, well, my body was trying to expel it. It was just like, this is unnatural. This is not meant to be eaten like this. What are you doing? And so ultimately after the stream, I took all the pineapple off, put it in a little bowl, ate the pineapple, enjoyed it, set it aside, rinsed, got something else in my system. And then I started eating the pizza. And it was still disgusting because it had ham on it and the pineapple juice. And that actual part, that's me. That's just me taking liberties with the truth. I did finish the pizza very reluctantly. It was more of I don't want to waste money type of thing. Pineapple isn't my first choice, but I can't say it's terrible. You can, Lagmeister. It's so easy. Watch this. Watch what I do. Watch this. There we go. It's a few keystrokes. You can do it, Lagmeister. You can do it. I've shown you the way. I've empowered you to speak the truth thusly. When I visited Ireland, we all ate shark testicles and drank Icelandic vodka. Okay, that's what we call lowering the bar. What is it? There's a Latin word for it. Something ridiculatus or absurdist. Absurdum? Something absurdum. Pretty much, in order to make a point, resorting to the most absurd thing possible to make your really absurd thing seem less absurd. So I will congratulate you, Ugnip. Shark testicles, the vodka doesn't sound too bad, but shark testicles somehow does, in comparison, make pineapple pizza seem more edible. I'm not going to lie. If you were to put shark testicles on a plate and a piece of pineapple on pizza, it would be a tough call which one I was going to eat. It really depends on what kind of sauce they put the testicles in, to be honest. Because, I like eel, unagi, raw eel. I like that, but I got to have it with that dark brown sauce, that soy sauce, whatever kind of stuff that they always serve it with. I don't know how much I would dig on the eel if it was just an eel with a face looking at me going, I'm an eel. So there you go. If you make it super absurd, like I said, concrete, okay, yeah, maybe I would prefer pineapple to concrete on pizza just because I can't digest it as well. Teriyaki with pineapple is now gray area. Just come over to the other side. We're very accepting. No. It's you see, Carlos. I'm not lured or seduced by your very unseductive prospects of pineapple on pizza. I was meeting you halfway. I was saying, hey, we don't have to fight. We can share this common ground. Let us agree on the things that pineapple can be enjoyed upon, and acknowledging, to be truthful and fair, that chicken and teriyaki sauce, I still think personally it's better without pineapple, but I don't mind it on there. I think it does work in a way that pineapple on pizza simply just it fails on every level. But I would say in that regard, you're just as close to being on the right side of this discussion, which is pineapple doesn't really belong there, as I am to bastardizing the truth and saying, yeah, sure, why not? Pineapple on pizza. I have no standards. I'm a pineapple slut. And so I'm just going to put pineapple on everything because it's so delicious. Never. I will never relinquish my dignity and become a pineapple slut. Vodka was needed to swallow it. Okay, there you go. That makes sense. Reindeer kebab. Yes, join us. Do it. Do it. You know, when you sound like Palpatine, you're not on the right side of this. You understand that, right? When you have to try to compel me, I think truth will speak for itself. I think both Carlos and Lagmeister, and perhaps Ugnip, I'm still a little ambiguous on where you fit into this whole thing. Pineapple on pizza, pro or con. You said it's not a very popular topping, but I know that that's not necessarily saying that you don't like it. I'm not getting a full commit one or the other, but either way, I think the truth speaks for it. I don't need to compel you to join me. I'm a Lamborghini dealership. I don't have to make a commercial about my Lamborghinis. I don't have to sell it to you. It's obvious. You would want it. You obviously want my Lamborghini. My Lamborghini is amazing. I don't have to sell you. I don't have to corral you or be like, hey, we got it on sale. What's it going to take you to get you in this Lamborghini? I'll give it to you for $250,000. Hey, that's 10% off. I can just say, hey, it's a Lamborghini. Truth is a Lamborghini. And I present you the truth. I don't have to sell it to you. I don't have to convince you to get into it. You're going to get into it when you're good and ready. When times get tough. My analogy is breaking down right now. But my point stands. Truth is a Lamborghini. I never use it myself, but I can eat it if it's jalapeno pepperoni pie. I don't understand how the addition of jalapenos and pepperonis make it okay. Is it that you can't taste the pineapple on the pizza if you have jalapenos and pepperoni? I mean, that's kind of cheating. That's like me saying I'll eat eggplant as long as you surround it with chocolate cake. You know? Like how at what point are you still technically eating the pineapple if there's so many other abundant flavors? My go-to pizza would be the Meat Lovers pizza. There you go. Extra cheese and stuffed crust. Preach. There you go. See? Testify. Testify, Lagmeister. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. See, the truth shall set you free. Welcome to the Lamborghini. And no buts and no ands, no howevers. No, that's it. That statement stands on itself. Go-to pizza. The one that you choose voluntarily without being cajoled, corralled, or in any other way shamed is Meat Lovers, extra cheese, and stuffed crust. And that sounds delicious. Now, me personally, again, not a huge ham I love ham and bacon, just not on pizza in general. But I will gladly eat a Meat Lovers pizza right there. It's the balance like mango habanero. You see... Oh, goodness gracious. It's like saying chocolate and nacho cheese go together, just like I'm trying to think of the most disparate thing, but honestly, oh gosh, we're already talking about like the most distant things from combining the chocolate and nacho cheese go together, as well as you killed my brain with that. You killed it. Mango habanero is not that good either. There you go, Ugnup. There you go. That's the point I was getting to. The last weekends I've made kebab pizza Kebab meat, onion, chili, and jalapeno. Well, there's no pineapple on it there, Ugnip, so I think I would try it at least. Isn't kebab meat, isn't that like steak, like cubes of steak, essentially? Like, so do you still have, is it crust, tomato sauce, cheese, kebab meat, onion, chili, and jalapeno? I mean, it sounds like, Ugnip, you and Carlos would have some overlap as jalapenos seem to be, or spicy food seems to be a correlation. I have the problem where I'm not a big spicy food kind of guy. So I'm not going to objectively say no jalapenos on pizza, because I don't think I could really eat a jalapeno on a pizza. I'm not going to say it's wrong or bad because I can't ingest it myself. It'd be like me saying a horror movie is dumb, because horror movies aren't my genre, so I can't really speak to that in an expert way. I am, however, an expert on pineapple. And that's why I can say what I say. Habanero is really good. Isn't that a sauce? Isn't that like a hot sauce? I think it is, right? Oh crap! Sorry, fellas. I actually just realized. So I have to get. It's a whole shebang, a whole to deal to get the Nintendo system set up. I got to get that set up for the Kirby adventure, because we're going to beat that today. But I need the time to get that done, and I got to get a little something in my stomach, something edible. I appreciate everybody trying to get me to lose my appetite. Carlos, Lagmeister, appreciate you jumping in, putting ideas in my head that make my stomach go roar. But I am still hungry, despite those efforts. It was worth a shot, fellas. It was worth a shot. But I got to do that, and and then I got to get that fired up and get it going. Because every single time I try to do it, OBS has a fit, or RetroTink, something has a fit, and it doesn't want to put the game through, and then the volume levels are all whacked. So I will talk to you all hopefully soon. But if nothing else, I will catch you later. Thank you for the conversation. Thanks for watching. Until next time.